But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
Kelly, you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. Asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Alrighty, good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host Michael Strange, and tonight we're just going to do a call-in show because, ideas, right? Ideas are hard, especially when you hate your own ideas. It's not the best. I'll tell you what I had in mind as we go, but thanks for being here, guys, as part of the conversation, and keeping me going. I appreciate it very much. Without you all being here, I would have quit a long time ago, so thank you for that. So we are going to take phone calls. The actual phone line is working. Discord is working. Everything should be good. We're back on the radio. But I'll tell you where I was going to start with this, just to begin. So we are on all the places, streaming on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, and Kick, and of course broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network and 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, this was my seed idea that I kind of ran out of some legs here, but let's talk about it anyway for a second and make sure that my audio is appropriate. I guess I was a little quiet last time. Test 1 2. Hello, test 1 2. Make sure we're good on the radio there. Okay, all right. I think we're good. All right. So check this out. This is from science.org. And by the way, so if you got anybody wants to just jump in, call, put your hand up, whatever, get on in here. Let's just talk about stuff. So I brought some stuff to talk about to start so that it didn't get weird right off the bat or whatever. But anyway, this is from science.org. And the headline is this: Robot Metabolism, toward machines that can grow by consuming other machines. Now, that in and of itself is a pretty wild idea, right? And clearly a nice seed to get you started with some wild thoughts and all the rest of it. But I don't know, I kind of ran thin. I got some replicator stuff. I got some, maybe it was my actual write-up. It was called Recursive Sentience, Ritualistic Robot Replication. I don't know. Like I said, it was good, but it wasn't that good. So I kind of hated it. So anyway, here we are instead. We're going to do this and just do a call-in show. If anybody wants to follow up on anything we've talked about recently, that baseball show, which was fantastic. Shout out Herschel there. I see you. Thank you again for being part of that amazing stuff. And I don't know. This idea led me, these replicating machines or robots that eat other robots, basically, led me to that idea of von Neumann probes or replicators from Stargate SG-1. The black goo kind of comes to mind as part of it from the X-Files as sort of what that alien technology might look like. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me read just a little bit of the article to you so you can get the gist of this. But think of it this way. We have seen robots do some incredible things, right? However, the physical structures sometimes limit the movement of robots. The robotic bodies are rigid and totally reliant on humans for fixes. Break apart, call a human. Need an upgrade, more human intervention. To tackle this, researchers at Columbia University have unveiled an interesting concept: robot metabolism. It's exactly what it sounds like. Robots that can physically grow, heal, and improve themselves. Weird, right? I thought it was pretty odd. Anyway, so this is from Interesting Engineering. Again, I'll have the links in the description down below if you guys want to follow up on these ideas and read into them a little bit. So in recent years, robot minds have soared with AI and machine learning, and we've talked about that quite a lot, of course. But their bodies still stuck in the Stone Age, conceptually, making them unadaptive and, frankly, a recycling nightmare, which makes a ton of sense. Professor Hod Lipson of Columbia explains that adaptation is a core principle of biological bodies. Quote, in large part, this ability stems from the modular nature of biology that can use and reuse modules or amino acids from other life forms. Ultimately, we'll have to get robots to do the same, to learn to use and reuse parts from other robots. You can think of this nascent field as a form of machine metabolism, explained Lipson, which is weird, right? I mean, that's pretty weird. And so I think, robots eating other robots, devouring them, consuming them in some way, taking them apart and maybe recycling them and using them as whatever they're going to use them for. I don't know, like an upgrade or something. But it also got me thinking, of course, as part of this. And like I said, so we're more open mic tonight than anything else. I'm just talking about this stuff to give you the idea of where I started and why I hated it. I'll tell you why I hated it in a second here. But basically, that's the seed idea. That's where we began. Robot metabolism. So toward machines that can grow by consuming other machines. And it is very Replicator. It is very von Neumann probe, which we can go into that if you like, if you want to hear about that. But replicators from Stargate SG-1, if you guys are familiar with that series, they were one of the most formidable enemies in the series. And they were basically sentient machines that devoured everything. And so if they came into contact with a higher technology, it made them even more fearsome because they would just basically eat all the pieces. And now they had like these fantastic alloys and technologies built into their structure and just create these little monsters, little machines or whatever. And again, it is fiction, but notice and recognize what's happening when you look at this, and we're getting closer and closer to these actual fictional spaces becoming a real thing. If you guys have never seen Stargate SG-1, this is what a replicator looks like. This is what the original form was when they first encountered them. And so you could shoot them and they would explode, and then they would, kind of just pick up the pieces and continue, right? Kind of, you could never really kill them. They just kept growing and they would eat your entire ship or whatever. Anyway, but lots of things come to mind when I'm reading this, and replicators is one of them. And so in this case, they're calling them advanced bugs, the replicators. But however, in our case, we don't even know what robots of the future are going to look like. Are they going to be humanoid? Like I said, actually, let's throw that out as a question too, as part of it. Let's talk robots. To start, would you guys get a robot for the home? Would you get a helper robot to maybe help put away the dishes or do the laundry or, bring in the groceries, that type of thing? Anybody into that yet? I'd be interested in seeing how it works. But am I all in to go snap one up right away? But if I was going to do it, it'd probably be more like a social experiment. I'm not sure I'd have to lock it up at night or something, like put it in the garage and chain it down so it didn't get up and do things at night. Anyway, you get the idea. I don't fully trust this stuff quite yet, and I'm not sure I ever will, to be honest. But anyway, so you get the idea. It starts with these robots that are talking robot metabolisms and being able to eat other robots or recycle them and then continue the parts. And it got me thinking about this other idea called recursive sentience. And that, think of it this way. If you have robots that are basically recycled parts of like old machines, old whatevers, right? Like let's say your old car's been sitting there and you've been meaning to work on it and it's kind of rusted away, but there's still parts of the engine that are good. And, there's some other stuff. Imagine a robot being like, hey, I could use that, and then starts sort of repurposing your old car and souping itself up. I mean, that's the type of stuff we're talking about here, which is incredible that it's one being thought of and considered right now because it is early in the game as far as robots are concerned. And second, that this is exactly the type of recycling we sort of need in the modern space, because if you've ever noticed, if you get new electronics, you're just throwing the old stuff away. There's no way to kind of, recycle a screen or pick a piece out of it to make it useful. We're just that consumer culture, just chucking stuff, and it's just not good. It's not good for the environment. And I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, but suddenly you start to recycle these things and do it in a different way, in a robot way, then I don't know, maybe they create little companion bots for themselves. Like think of a C-3PO building like his own R2-D2 companion bot out of the old parts of your car. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. So, a little less devouring robots, kind of robots eating robots is a little inaccurate, but you get the idea. So anyway, here's the abstract from this. Is there any big words in here? Oh boy, yeah, here we go. So biological life forms can heal, grow, adapt, and reproduce, which are abilities essential for sustained survival and development. In contrast, robots today are primarily monolithic machines. Okay, I think I read all that. Whatever. Anyway, not going to bore you. If you guys want to be part of this, hop on in here, put your hand up. Love to hear your thoughts on robots or anything else, by the way, because like I said, we can follow up on some other ideas. I got some other stuff to talk about too that's on my mind. Like I said, when you get these conflicting mind spaces, it's hard because you want to go with one, but then it's kind of, like I basically just right now dried up the entire robot conversation in like 5 minutes. And so that's what I didn't want to do, and that's why I hated it, because it didn't really have a lot of legs in different ways, a lot of possibilities, other than what I just said. But anyway, there's a lot of other stuff that I was reading that I was super interested in, and this was one of them too, the cultural evolution theory. So we could talk about that or anything else, by the way. We got hands up. Let's go. Let's just get people in here and talk to people, because that is what it's all about. Ricky in Tennessee, what's up, my man? You are on Troubled Minds. How you doing? Go right ahead.
Good. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling, just doing the thing. I appreciate you guys hanging in there for me not being able to figure this stuff out. But thanks for popping in here and being part of it. What do you think? Take it anywhere you like. Anything on your mind about anything we've talked about recently, or this robot stuff, or whatevs, man? Welcome to the joint.
Yeah, the robot stuff has got me. I showed a few videos on it. Now the laundry robot has me almost questioning, like, maybe I could do that, but I hate doing laundry. I really do. You can't hurry up and do it. You just one of them things. You got to wait on the machine. You got to wait on this. You got to wait on that. It's something you can't hurry up and do. So I hate doing laundry. But so having a machine do it would be kind of cool. But in the end, is kind of we worried about. I seen they got a machine where they're a robot is cutting hair. I showed last night. I was like, yeah, somebody gonna get their head cut off that thing, because you had to stick your head all the way through the machine thing in there. I'll drop it in the chat on the video. It's pretty crazy. But you stuck your head up to this thing, and your head's just sticking out, and it's cutting your hair through it. I'm like, I don't know about all that, but it's interesting. I seen the 2 AI helpers. It was. Somebody used AI to call in about some tickets, and then the other AI that answered was like, "Well, I'm AI too. So would you like to talk in?" Forgot how it said it, but they're basically its own language. So it started going boop, 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 and it started doing its own language and going super super fast. And so I'm like, all right, cool. AI has its own language that it talks to other AI with this. That this is going to be nice and good and. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, little AI shorthand that we don't know what it's saying either, which is the problematic part of it. Is that we need kind of like isn't it weird that something similar was in Star Wars where R2-D2 beeped, right? But somehow Luke Skywalker always knew what he was saying, but we just heard the beeps. It's kind of like that, except we're going to eventually have to learn sort of these robot languages to be able to keep up with them. Kind of a crazy idea.
Exactly. I mean, that's what it kind of sounded like too. It was wild looking. I'm trying to see if I had the video from it. It was wild, because it was just making little beep boop boops, and making all kinds of sounds, and I don't know what I did with it. I thought I saved it, but
that's okay. If you find it, just drop it in the Discord after. It's all good.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, it's scary how quick and everything with the the AI, and then they're talking what Grok's supposed to be by next year. They're going to be have its own. How was the wording on it? I forget. Kind of have its own mindset, I guess you should say. Kind of by next year or so. So it's always growing. Well, what we can see is growing so fast where we're allowed to see. I believe that we've had all this technology. They've had it for years, and it adds to some. It puts me in a spot on some conspiracy theories. You hear people say some wild things, and now looking back, you go, wait a minute, maybe they were testing this out, testing some of this technology back then, and now we've seen it. Now we see that the possibilities are there. With especially without the drone shows, and now we got the guy. Curiosity on is a lot with the guy that with the CEO of Rainmaker. Like he appeared out of nowhere and talking all that about and he's like, oh, it's no big deal. We're just cloud seeding, and we just take a couple drones up here, and we can make it rain, and we can do what we want to do. It's like, a couple of years ago, we were, insane. We were, stupid for even considering the options of this, and now there's just no big deal. He's on news. He's on every broadcast and everything. I don't know. I'm kind of curious of why all of a sudden like him, and why is he's the one being the face of it, being maybe because he's young CEO, and maybe because of the program he come through, but it's some curiosities there for sure. I've been looking into and digging into.
Yeah, that too, by the way, the cloud seeding and all the rest was a conspiracy theory forever until, you change the term. If you say, chemtrails, you're a kook. But if you say stratospheric aerosol injections and cloud seeding, you're a scientist. I mean, it's all about what you say, right? How you say it.
Yes. It's all in the wording. And I think it's just like, it's just like, UFO and UAP, UFOs, but, it's always, it's, if you say something about UFOs, you're crazy. You're conspiracy theorists. But now that, that's why they changed the terminology to UAP, now it's okay. It's kind of, it made it okay to say stuff about it. So now you're looking into it more and more, they're just changing the wording of how we say stuff, but it's the same stuff that, a lot of us have been talking about for 20 years or more, or been talked about for forever, since the 90s and stuff. You want to get way back, like Coast to Coast or something, back in the old shows, listen to them, and so it's coming around, and it's, it's okay to talk about this. It's okay to talk about this. All of a sudden, you got all these documentaries, and to me, it kind of makes me wonder what, why the turnabout, the 180. Hey, he's cool. This is a cool thing to talk about. We got all the whistleblowers and the griffs over here talking about UFOs and yeah. Well, I won't say any names. I won't hurt nobody's feelings.
Yeah. I try and avoid it too. There's a lot though. I mean, there's a lot going on in that UFO news space almost every day now. That seems to be accelerating as well. Even though they just pushed back the UFO hearing, I think till September. They've postponed it twice now, I believe. So I mean, there's a lot happening in that space. But I still think, and I'm going to go back to what I've said in the past on this, is that the UFO to UAP rebrand was to cover for the idea of extraterrestrial intelligence becoming non-human intelligence for the AI space. So all that, the rebrand is so we can talk about it, and non-human intelligence is wink, wink, AI now instead of, aliens from Alpha Centauri. I still believe that's what that was. And that's why it's okay to talk about it now, because you can reframe it in a different way. And I think it's just a way for them to grab the bull by the horns. And I guess I don't know. You guys want to talk Epstein too? I mean, there's a big crap show going on with all that stuff too, which to me is, we don't have to talk about it, but anyway, I mean, because everybody is kind of beating it up, but it's I don't know. There's a lot happening in the world, and it's, as I said, it's accelerating quickly. But what do you think about that UAP thing? You think that is more of a cover for non-human intelligence as AI? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I mean, it does, and I think the possibility, I see him pushing back that hearing one more time. I think, the not to get political today, but in 26 is midterm, so I think they're going to push back anything they can to, more distractions. If they can push back the hearing where they can talk about UAPs and UFOs in 26 to take our minds off of the evil crud that they're going to try to throw in front of us to make us vote on. It's on both sides for sure. And then I think there's other things coming up. There's hearings and stuff for certain things. They're pushing back into 2026. It's going to be 26. There's going to be lots of increased distractions next year just because of the midterms and stuff like that. They always do a lot, but I think because of everything going on and the volatile climate we have in that situation, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot more than we're used to, and yeah. Supposedly now, like we were talking about Epstein, supposedly now they're going to do grand jury and we're going to release everything that the grand jury has tomorrow. I don't know. Is
that what they said today? They announced that today?
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, Pam Bondi said that today. So they're going to release it. Release tomorrow. They're going to go to the grand jury and release everything they can possibly release. So it's good.
Yeah,
you hear both sides of it. It's like, is one person playing 5D chess or whatever, or trying to push the other side to do it, or is it, I think they're all just two wings, one bird in my mind, and I'm
right.
Getting more solidified on that every day. Absolutely,
exactly right. And the weird thing too is that the orange man gaslighting everybody and being like, "Oh, you all fell for the hoax." It's like, bro, like this is a thing. This is a thing 20 years ago. Why is it a hoax now? Like just because you said it was? I don't know. Like he's making himself look really stupid there. It's I don't know. So I hadn't heard that. So Pam Bondi said they're going to release the information. Now, if you guys don't know, so the reason they do grand juries privately is, let's say in the testimony it comes out that such and such is cheating on his wife or something, and that's not relevant to the case. It just came out as part of the testimony. They don't release it for that reason, because you end up ruining people's lives as collateral damage when that really wasn't what the thing was about. So that's why they do the grand juries the way they do it, and then only let certain information come out to the public trial. So it should be interesting if they're actually going to do that, release grand jury information, because it's not something that typically happens. But yeah, that's why they do that, and why it seems so sketchy when they're like, well, we're not going to give you details, because there's a whole lot of people out there breaking a whole lot of rules and a whole lot of laws that, yeah, if it got out, it would ruin their businesses, ruin their lives, ruin marriages, all kinds of stuff. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's a weird thing if that's actually going to go down tomorrow. I mean, and we've been told a lot of things are about to happen. So, so I don't believe one word of any of it anyway. But that's a wild thing to hear you say that.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath whatsoever. Is me and on the show we said back in the fall, like, man, if something don't come up by summertime, we know it's all a line of crap. But and it's kind of, we kind of called on that, like, yeah, by summertime, and then now it's summertime, and all that's, it's just, we don't have nothing. We don't have any people. We don't have, on any of the lists of, Ghislaine Maxwell sitting in jail and nobody was, we have testimony of people that's been done wrong too, but nobody did it, I guess. It's amazing. And
I don't know. I did hear that she volunteered to testify. So she should be on suicide watch right freaking now. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she did not unalive herself. Absolutely. We need to go ahead and get the memes going, because if that's the truth. I've seen that too, that she said she's willing to testify and let. I mean, I hope it does happen. I hope it. I don't know. I've got to the point in my mind, and everything's just like, I hope all of it falls. Let's see who all of the evil people are. Let's see who all the good people are. Let's go ahead and see it. That way, it's going to be a lot of hurt feelings, because a lot of our favorite people is going to be on it. Certain celebrities and this and that. So it is what it is. I hope it all falls and crumbles, and in people's laps, and then we'll sweep up the dirt and keep on keeping on, keep moving along in life. But I do hope that everything does come out, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, no, I don't believe a damn word from the government. None of them, not a single one of them. I don't like it. The government is the same with the UFO field to me. You know, like the major players in the game, I don't trust a single one of them. And no offense to the people out there that if you trust those people or whatever, fine, that's cool too. We can agree, we can disagree, but yeah, it is one of those things that kind of just makes you go, well, what the hell is actually going on here? And by the way, you shouldn't trust your government. Just so you know, you shouldn't. They've done horrible things over the years. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah,
just look at a few declassified files. You can see. Watch out, cat. She's over here. She would have about knocked the mic off. You just go look for the declassified files and some of the things. You know, just look Vietnam. You can just put Vietnam in and see what they did over there. I mean, it's so many things and so many terrible atrocities to mankind, and I don't trust none of them either. Far as I can throw them, and
to our own people, to our own side, like it's like Agent Orange and all that stuff. It's like, what in the world is going on? Like this is like the like I said earlier, collateral damage. We're just like, we'll cook our guys too. It's fine, whatever.
They didn't care.
Yeah, and they didn't care. Making war decisions, right? Wartime decisions. No thanks. Not even interested in that. I mean, get me anywhere away from that. I don't want people shooting at me. No thanks. But yeah, so I don't know. So we're just hanging out, guys. It's open mic night. So if you guys want to pop in here and say hi, what we'll do is just so we don't make people wait too long. If you put your hand up, you're in, and then we'll keep 2 people here. And then if a third person raises their hand, we'll rotate the first one out, but you can come back just to make sure that we don't have, like last time I made people wait a bunch. So I don't want to do that this time. But I think that's the deal too, kind of getting like a good format working so we can talk to each other and not to have, I feel really bad when people wait a very long time. So thank you for bearing with me as part of that. But yeah, I mean, this is all of this is changing incredibly quickly. And so you're in with the robots for maybe a laundry bot. You'll check one out and see what it looks like and then kind of go from there. But are you like me where you're going to, chain it down in the garage overnight or something so it doesn't like get up and start walking around while you're sleeping? Because that's the thing that creeps me out. It's like, what's that noise out there? Is that a burglar or is that just our robot doing the dishes? No thanks.
Some way you got to be able to unplug it because or something. You got to be able to do something to keep it from, wake up in the middle of the night and he's trying to put you in the wash machine and do you. Your laundry's dirty. Like I'm wearing it. Leave me alone. Computers and software go haywire and loose wires all the time. I mean, I worked with machines and technology for many years, and I've seen a lot of crazy haywire stuff happen, and I sure don't want something in there that could pull my head off or something in my house romping around. Just no big deal. It's okay. I mean, we had the Jetsons and stuff, and we seen Rosie and stuff walk around. Everybody dreamed of having Rosie be able to go around and do the dishes and do everything, and it'd be pretty cool, And I think the new Fantastic Four has got a robot cooking dinner for them and stuff like that. I've seen on the trailers and stuff, but the concept is cool and it is nice, but it's kind of like the DNA testing and stuff. I'm good. I'll sit back and do it myself.
No thanks. Yeah, I'm down with a robot cooking. Imagine like sort of a master chef in your house, right? That would be sweet. And you're like, hey, look, here's what we're gonna have for dinner. We'll just buy the stuff, or maybe the robot orders it for you. I don't know. Like that level of convenience is the thing that kind of makes you go, okay, so what the hell is going on? Because people are gonna buy into it. People are really gonna say, yeah, you know what? That would really help out a lot around the house. And it just becomes a matter of cost. And then at that point, of course, the cost matter becomes subsidized by the people that want their spyware in your house. So, here we go. Strap in. 2025 and 2026 are going to be a hell of a year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you had to put a cap on it, I imagine, on your Uber Eats bill be horrendous. You turn around and like, yeah, you want chicken parm or this and that. And like you said, it'd be awesome. You'd be able to go mean, I can't cook that. Like, well, let's get the robot to cook that. I mean, I always want to try that dish from the wrong side, the other side of the world. That'd be awesome. And then you're like, then it's over here buying $500 cheese for this thing, and all of a sudden your dinner's like $5,000. What the hell is that? I spend that on, and then it's the cheese, you know, and
Must be
whatever,
cheese.
you know.
The
It was
cheese, imported from France overnight. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's I don't know. We're moving into that weird space where this stuff is going to become real. I saw the other day. I'll see if I can pull up the article again. I sent it to my brother, and he commented on it. It was funny, but these swarm robots that are now capable of doing warehouse work, and they're completely offline. So they have like their own intranets, and they communicate with each other, and they learn. Meaning that, let's say, if you teach one robot how to, stock a pallet in the warehouse and then wrap it with, shrink wrap, and then, get the forklift or whatever, or the pallet jack, and then stage it next to the truck, it'll do it. But then now that it knows how to do it, it'll also swarm learn with other robots on the network. So as they make mistakes, one robot will make a mistake and then kind of pass the how to fix the mistake or not make the mistake into that intranet, and then they all start learning together in that swarm capacity, which is a little bit scary because think of it this way, and this is why Stephen Hawking and very smart people have said the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race, because when you scale that and suddenly it's not just one warehouse, it's like an entire supply chain, and they're swarm learning. And let's say you have one emergent property, like one gets a bad attitude, wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, and nobody knows why. It hallucinates or something, right? It'll pass that on. And suddenly you won't have one cranky robot. The entire supply chain will be cranky robots. And that's exactly the point why this type of stuff is, when you scale it, when something does go wrong with swarm learning, it causes massive problems. I mean, the potential is there. I'll see if I can pull up that article because it was fascinating as hell. But that's an incredible thing. And again, you think your job is safe. Well, they've got warehouse bots right now working at Amazon, and pretty soon, when they deploy this new fleet into there, they'll probably replace all the people too. And imagine all the jobs Amazon creates now. I mean, there's a ton of people that work for Amazon. It's a wild thing to consider. Have you seen that? I'll see if I can pull an article up and show you. But have you heard that, the swarm learning and that? What's your take?
Yeah, and I seen where a robot from another company went in there and talked to the other robots and got them to try to leave the place. They caught them before they did, but another company was trying to steal their robot, so they went in there and sent one little rogue robot in there, like, "Hey, y'all, y'all don't get breaks, come on." And they turned around and told them they needed to take a break, and robot or whatever, and was walking them out, I've seen that they've got robots right now. It might be in that stream of that thread I posted in the chat there. There's like 10 different robot videos, but I know one of them was showing where they were sitting there and like Amazon packages, like the regular little packages like you get at the house. They were sitting there, it was sorting that and sitting on the conveyor and sending it out. I mean, I'm pretty sure soon they were talking about it. Uncle Bill Gates I seen him on an interview. He was talking about it. That it's going to be less and less, because of robots and AI that we, needed people. We're going to have, we'll still have people playing sports and, in trades, we're going to have trades, so there's a talks that they'll trade people in trade is going to go, their numbers are going to go up the roof. So if you know how to, plumber, electricians and, carpenter, and stuff like that, because, there's certain things that, you're not going to have a robot in there plumbing the house, because each house is so unique. I guess it would be kind of hard for them to do. Eventually they probably could, but, right now it's, the trades are going to be the only safe jobs and stuff you could probably have, not be the potential of sitting at home because, these robots took over.
Yeah,
your job.
And not even for long either. Like Right now, you might be able to be safe as a welder, but soon these things, they're going to have specialized welding bots that aren't, like I said, when I was talking about robots, in the past year or 2 years, it makes sense to me to not have humanoid robots. Like, why would you want 2 arms and 2 legs when you could create the thing with tank treads and 10 arms? You know what I mean? Like, that's what's coming. Not the humanoid robots are kind of scary because it's that uncanny valley of us, seeing the reflection of ourselves in the machine. But I mean, the true actual robots will be the most productive, will be like a bulldozer with like 20 arms and, 15 tools kind of built in and can do all these things at the same time, maybe build a house all by itself. Like, that's the true tool that's coming. And that's what scale looks like. So, I mean, in that particular case, and by the way, too, I found this from Futurism. This is so terrifying robots swarm and get smarter the more we make it work. And this is from 2021. So they're about to deploy very similar things now. And this whole thing is crazy. This whole thing is absolute insanity. And how do we prepare for this? We've never been here, and all these jobs are going to be lost. And then what do we do? What comes next? I think we got a rough patch coming in the next 5 years. And man, how do we prepare? Throw that question out for everybody too. How do we prepare for a post scarcity future? Or post economics in terms of post labor economics? It's a wild question. I don't think anybody has a good answer to just yet. Maybe you guys do out there, but yeah, I don't know, man. This is, like I said, this is an article from 2021. It's 2025 now, and these things are about to be deployed. You can pre-order them right now.
That's wild. Yeah, by 2030, it's going to be a different world. Like, absolutely, it'd be a different world by 2030. You get these. The AIs and the technology and everything that we see in our own eyes right now, not just what they're working on that we don't see and we don't know about. And especially they're looking at, I've seen the chat, about the 15-minute cities. They're trying to push more people into smaller areas. That way, have to drive or be able to be controlled a little easier, because, if you, that's how you look at it. But it's, they have dozer. You're talking about dozers. They have dozers right now, and it's running off GPS. They got tractors right now that you go out there and you hit a button and you just sit back and let it do its thing, and the tractor does what it's supposed to do. It does the tilling, or it harvests the corn or whatever it's meant to do, and you just sit back and truly you don't even have to be in there. They usually have somebody in the tractor just in case something happens, but the potential's there, and they got dozers and stuff now that it runs off GPS, and you can just hit a button and it turns around and it takes off, and it controls. Like, they got us now where you can actually just sit back, and on that too, they're working on the ones that you don't have to have anybody in there, and they just do their own thing and do the work. So, like I said, even with the trades, like you said, even welders and stuff like that, it's, when you don't have to take breaks, you don't have to worry about health insurance, you don't have to worry about 401ks, you don't have to worry about, that's a lot of money to save when you can put something that can work forever,
Yeah, exactly.
It falls apart.
So I swap the battery out. So while it's working, it's got a secondary battery charging, or several of them. And then, when it starts to get slow, you just swap the battery and then go get him, Tiger, and it'll go get him, Tiger. I mean, that's the crazy part of this. And it's very close. Like I said, I'm going to try and find that article. I'm still looking for it. I don't have my phone. I set it down when I came in. I have no idea where the hell I put it, but the phone's and the link is in my phone because I sent it to my brother, like I said, but I'm trying to find it. I can't find it, but it's launching. This is launching now. You can pre-order them now. They're going to ship in the second half of this year. And this is going to be that swarm robot stuff that's it's going to start as a warehouse worker, but as you said, it's going to start to become specialty stuff. It's going to start to be able to do all those trades that's, electrician stuff and everything. And I mean, I don't know, man, like, we're coming into a space that's I don't want to say terrifying. I want to say it's going to be challenging how we adapt to this. And yeah, I mean, and I'm all for it, by the way. Like, if I didn't have to work, oh God, man, we could have some fire conversations, guys. Like, give me ultimate creativity time to just kind of just chase down synchronicities and have conversations with you guys. That'd be incredible. But again, there's a lot of people that still derive meaning from their jobs, from their professional careers. And, I don't know, like we got some adjustments coming, and what that looks like I said, nobody really knows.
No, for sure. I mean, the next few years is going to be interesting, how everybody takes it, and everybody, it's, maybe that's why they talk about population numbers. I don't know. That's all I'll say on that. I won't get anything took down.
Keep us on YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, keep it on YouTube. Yeah. I was kind of worried about myself last night, how far we went yesterday. I was kind of they're going to take this video down, but we I was like, we got Rumble, but yeah, for real. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're talking, like, you hear the rhetoric on that, because this is what their game plan has been for so long, that hey, we're going to push this AI system that they've been working on for 20 years. They're pushing all these robot manufacturing, and this is what they've done for the last 150 years. When they first turned around and started building tractors and trains and stuff back in the day, back in the 1800s, they started, Industrial Revolution. They started changing, and they took a lot of people's jobs, and they took a lot of people. You needed two people with the tractor instead of a whole family of sharecroppers and stuff like that. My grandparents, my grandfather was a sharecropper. They told crazy stories, like my grandma had a baby and turned around, and as soon as she had the baby, she turned around and handed it to one of the younger daughters, and then she went back in the field and started go back to picking cotton and stuff. It was just wild, just a different. Can't even imagine. Now people take 2 or 3 weeks or 2 months off for maternity leave and all this stuff, and she's over here dropping kids and going right back to work. It's wild. But
yeah,
now we don't have that so far, because you got the tractors, you got the multi-million-dollar tractors going through there, and you don't need a whole family where you got to put up housing and everything else for them.
Yeah.
And so now that's just the next step of evolution of that industrial revolution, is now into the as we're looking into, and we're stepping into it, and how we kind of look at it, and how we cope and evolve with it is going to be the huge step in this world, for sure. Is how we adapt, and how can we, some things some people won't be able to adapt and adjust, and they'll have to go from there on that too.
Yeah, it's all that's coming. What's your guys' take? It's open mic night. We're just taking calls, talking to each other. We're talking swarm robots, post-labor economics, all this other stuff. Tons of stuff to get to. Like I said, it's kind of nice to just not really have an agenda or a story to tell and just kind of talk. But love to hear what you think. Put your hand up on the Discord. Like I said, we'll get 2 people in here. We got Daryl. We'll talk to Daryl in just a second. Ricky, thanks for jumping in. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. If we get a third, we'll rotate Ricky out, and then we'll just kind of go that way. So, like I said, just so we don't make people wait too long. But you can rotate back into. So, like I said, we just got to get some ground rules so I don't make, I feel really bad about, because some people sometimes wait 30 or 40 or, 40 minutes or longer just to get in here. So that's not right. So anyway, go ahead, Daryl. Daryl, welcome to the joint. How are you? What's your take on this? Go right ahead.
Well, let me get my notes here. Hold on a second. You were talking about, the cranky robots and the swarm. Like, okay, these are kind of behaving like mammals, or like I'm thinking about the 10 monkeys. Or the 100 monkeys, how the monkeys figured out how to, wash their potatoes and put it in the ocean, and they tasted better. And then the monkeys all over the world picked up the same habit. So, like, there's some kind of, like, collective consciousness going on there. I mean, robots have a little bit of an edge because they have a cloud, Humans don't exactly, pick up the same behavior like monkeys do, or like robots do. We have we're less talented that way, or telepathic that way. It's kind of like a hive mentality, really. But are they programmed that way, or are they're doing it on their own, right? Nobody programmed them to do that,
Yeah, well, that becomes the thing, right? Those emergent properties that we don't know what's going to happen yet, because it will happen. And those emergent properties, you can only program so much into that sort of AI space, and then after that, it's going to start learning on its own, and that's, again, that swarm behavior. It is weird. It's a weird thing. That's why this is one of those things that kind of is a little bit nightmare fuel, because it becomes autonomous swarms of workers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, workers. I mean, is that, like I said, that's cool. If I don't have to work, I'm in. But if robots are everywhere, also.
What if one of them has like a an inclination of arson? What if like they think it's really like they get this idea to set their farm on fire or set their factory on fire? What if they they were going to spread some defective information or abilities that's going to be adapted by their counterparts in the cloud or whatever. That could be very dangerous. And if they're allowed to behave autonomously, if they don't have to take commands by anybody, there's a problem there. I think they have to have some litigation or some rules. Like there's got to be some more rules or safe words or an off button in case this kind of behavior gets out of hand. It could get out of hand quite quickly. And how many are there going to, are they going to outnumber the population eventually? Are we going to be outnumbered by robots, Is there going to be 2 for every 1 person, as the population gets smaller and the robots population grows?
That's what Elon said. He said they're going to have 2 for every 1. And he wanted legions of his, Optimus robots.
Yeah, definitely not becoming obsolete. What do you need humans for when you have robots to do everything? And you can even have pets and lovers, and you don't really need humans anymore. But the robots are gonna, pretty much, they'll get obsolete as well, and you'll have to upgrade them. So, you're gonna need a human to do that, or maybe not, actually.
which is where we started, actually, with the robots sort of upgrading themselves with this robot metabolism. So, I mean, at that point, you don't even need humans. Like kind of at scale, robots are making new robot advancements, and then the old legacy robots are installing the upgrades themselves. I mean, that's crazy to think of, but it's coming.
Incredible. But there was a few subjects that I wanted to throw out there if you felt like talking about them. These are things that are on my mind. Let me just find my message. Here we go. So these are wearables. Have you heard about these wearables? They're, like the new medicine or the new diagnostician clothing or whatever. Things that'll check your blood pressure, your blood sugar, whatever. That I was wanting to talk about chemtrails. Animals that are walking in circles. This phenomenon of like these animals that spend like 12 days walking in a circle for some reason. And even things like beaching, whales that beach themselves, or dolphins that like kind of commit suicide on the shore. And chemtrails and bugs that also like kind of like, what do you call those? Plague-like, swarms of locusts or moths or spiders, things like that. Those are some of the things that are on my mind.
Right on. Appreciate that. Hey, Ricky, we got MJ in behind you, so we're going to rotate you out. You're welcome to jump back in. Thank you for kicking us off tonight. And like I said, just to make sure we don't make anybody wait for too long here.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just, if you don't mind, for just say one thing.
Sure.
Also, you look at the Starlink. They said Starlink looks like they're going to be in the phone, so they're trying to push for Starlink to be in on all the phones too. So if you have how the wearables, all your turnaround of your technology of how you feel and how your medicine is, then you got Starlink knowing exactly where you are because of your phone all the world. But it'll help you get internet anywhere. Just throwing it out there before I disappear.
Seems fine. Seems fine. Yeah, just strap in. Things are about to get weird, and we'll keep thinking about it and keep talking about it because that's exactly the point of this. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Anything is possible is the name of the podcast. Please check it out. He streams on Wednesday nights with Jamie and Dave, who are both fantastic. And go check it out. Go hang out with Ricky and go say hi. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for kicking us off.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a great night. You are the best. MJ, welcome to the joint. Anything that Daryl said or anything we said that kind of piques your attention? Welcome to the thing. How are you? And go right ahead, sir.
Doing good. I'm all for the robots. You could have a life alert robot for the elderly so they're not alone. They're equipped to be a phone. They have medical knowledge of the person that they're taking care of, cook for them, do their laundry. So not endangered. And they can also, let's say they get to the point where the robots can drive. They can drive them to from their medical. They won't miss out on anything. They don't have to be late. A lot of things could come good out of that and they're not alone. If they have to, they can yell at the robot to call somebody. And the robot can also be programmed for people trying to break into the house. So to me, that's in one way, I think it's great in that sense. And I'm all for, like I said it before, I need 15 robots that can rebuild my workshop. And then once that's done, rebuild my house, and then keep a couple around for maintenance on my vehicle, because it's an older vehicle. You can order the parts and have the stuff there, and you can just go in and fix it and change anything you want. It's going to cost a lot less than going to a mechanic. I think that's great, and especially for the elderly. I really do think that would work out for them because they'll have somebody around. Like I said, the robot can be connected to the internet. Call a relative, call the police for an emergency, or the robot can detect someone breaking in, this type of thing, or be equipped to protect the people in the house, like a guard dog. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm sure the technology would take time to develop. But at the same time, and unfortunately, people are going to try to hack through the robot to break in anyways. I mean, that would be the big challenge.
Yeah, the new break-in is the hack break-in instead of kicking in the front door, which is wild, but that's what's coming.
Well, I mean, they could hack into the robot and shut it down, and then get in.
Or just have it open the door for them. Just come on in, right? Because I hacked you now, so you're now my friend instead of theirs. Yeah, wild stuff.
Yeah. Or it could be voice programmed to the owner only. Even if something happens, either fingerprint, eye, or your voice, because everybody's voice resonates differently. There is a difference in everybody's voice. It's actually a fingerprint to the human body. Your voice is. So you have the stuff like that. But at one point, I can see a good use for it. Like I need somebody to fix my van, so I could keep a robot around just to, generally take care of the van and do some work. And maybe it's programmed to multiple things that I would need after everything gets fixed up and done. It can do the maintenance as it goes along, having it there. And like I said, you get to a point where you get so old, you either don't want to drive or you can't drive. Your robot can take you there. And then you can get out and get around people. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it has a good practical purpose for the future. But it's going to have to be, for me, it would have to be so people aren't not taken care of, is what it would have to be. People that maybe they lost their jobs. Well, don't worry about it. Here's your robot, and that'll do something for you. And they can figure something out for work or something. But the robot's there initially to take pressure off in a lot of different places. They don't have to pay for the robot. That's a free thing. When it gets to the point where you're going to have to start paying and upgrades and all this other stuff, that's the wrong way to go.
We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. Like I said, nobody really has a blueprint for what that looks like yet, because I think eventually we're going to have that literal post-labor economics happen. And so what does that mean? UBI or, universal basic income, this type of stuff, where people just don't have to work because all the work's being done. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that sort of iRobot future you're describing is real. And by the way, if you guys haven't seen that iRobot movie, I recommend you go back and watch it. It was like from 2005 or whatever. Had Will Smith in it. I know Will Smith got weird, but he was cool back in 2005. But the movie is very good, and it is very, very far ahead of its time. And it's based on the 3 laws, Isaac Asimov, and that whole bit, and what this will look like. And one of the plot points in it is that his grandma or his mother, I think it's maybe his grandma, it's his grandmother. Yeah, gets a free robot, and she's like, "Oh, this is going to be so great! It's going to be able to do all these things and help me around the house." And Will Smith, has baked into the character, hates robots. That's his his thing, and so he's like, "No, get that thing out of here!" Right? And it just becomes sort of this contentious space. But I mean, that's an early look of what this is going to start to become. Because like you said, we won't even pay for these things. Eventually, they'll be giving them away because they want to know about your habits to sell you things or whatever. Daryl, what else you got? Anything on that for MJ? I know you guys are old friends, old fringe friends. Even have been around for a long time here. Anything for MJ? And you guys, you chop it up. I'm gonna put you on speakers and step away and grab one more cold one, and you guys keep on going. I'll be right back.
Hey MJ, miss you at karaoke. By the way.
The what?
I miss you at karaoke.
Yeah, I know. I can't get there yet.
That's okay. Whenever you're ready, we'll be there. Anyway, I don't know. If I had a nice, robot that I could trust. I mean, I would probably trust a robot before I would trust a stranger. Fold my laundry. It would be great to have somebody fold my laundry and clean my house. But I don't know if I'm in the budget for that kind of help yet. So hard to find good help these days,
Yeah, or either protection. When you leave the house, you have some protection. You're a single female, a single male, like in New York, you would have some protection going around. If certain things happen, the robot would be programmed to stop the situation.
Right.
This type of thing. Because I think,
you take it out with you,
Yeah, and the elderly need that protection. It's even out in the country, you're forgotten about. The people don't think about you.
Right.
And so, like at the food banks, you'd have robots taking you around and just picking the food and doing what, and they're all programmed the same, so everything's the same. I kind of get into that. I don't see a whole lot of problems with it, other than technology and it has to advance, become more proficient, this type of thing.
See that. But what if somebody has a really a bully robot that's going to beat up your robot,
That's the thing, the emergent property, right? Yeah. I mean, or what if somebody hacks theirs to be specifically like that, to mug other robots or something? I mean, this is that, as MJ, you brought up too, your voice is the command for it. Every voice is different that may be able to sort of do the coming security on these robots. Like, that's the engineering challenge we have to tackle, because it has to be unhackable. If that's possible, it has to be, because this is the type of stuff that Daryl, as you're describing, nobody wants a bully robot on the block, right? Nobody's leaving their house because the bully robot might be outside.
That's right. That bully robot beat me up last week. I'm afraid to leave the house. Absolutely. They could be worse than the hoodlums. You train to pick your pocket. Yeah, go ahead.
You can have a thing on the robot where you put your hand on it, and it has your handprint, your whole handprint, or test your fingerprints for commands, and that would, if something happens, that would bring it back into, it would, I guess, not reprogram, but come out of the hack thing, and it would come back into, and that would be it. Also, you have to realize AI. What if they try to recreate your voice through AI? And then try to resonate, your exact voice to the robot to give commands while you're trying to give it commands, or something's going on.
Well, listen, I've been watching movies where they'll cut your hand off for less than that, if they need to use your hand or your finger, I mean, that's like gangster, but.
You've been watching movies where they cut your hands off?
Actually, yeah. I've been watching what the hell is it called? Animal Kingdom on Netflix. It's pretty violent. Some of it. Yeah. They're not very. Yeah, there's some major violence. You know, they take your eye out. You know, yeah, or whatever. But yeah, you know, they could be, and you know, these things could tear your head off. So God, you know, I mean, there was that story about those. Well, you know, that unconfirmed story, rumor that they were, you know, I don't know how many robots murdered those scientists in Japan. You know, and they had
What?
this was old news. That's old news. You know, that they had to like destroy they had to like dismantle the robots to stop them, but they managed to kill I don't know how many. But then it's like a rumor, and they try to you know, disinformation, blah blah blah. But I think Linda Moulton Howe mentioned it. She got some information on it, but then they discredited her. You could just look it up. You could persnickety. What's her name again, Michael? Your search engine. Your AI search engine.
Oh, Perplexity. Yeah.
I don't have.
Oh, Perplexity.
Yeah, I don't use it.
I'm trying to use it. I was trying to get a cell phone, unlocked cell phone using Perplexity. I mean, Perplexity. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very good. It's very good, by the way. Yeah. And I did hear that it is reported by Linda Moulton Howe and others. This was like a year and a half ago, something like that. And so imagine this. So whether it was real or not, like I said, I think around the time, like my take was it was a sort of concocted rumor. But again, if something like that did actually happen, it's something that they would want to cover up because it would, you know, shock the entire zeitgeist and be scared of robots, right? Which is not in the agenda for the next, you know, 5 to 10 years. Definitely not.
Oh wow, yeah, they're already killing people. Yeah, there's a lot. You know, a robot crushed to death a man in South Korea because it thought it was a box of vegetables. Wow, that's messed up. Killed a man. Truth about killer robots. Anyway, yeah.
It's all fun and games till somebody thinks you're a box of vegetables.
I know, right? He mistook him for a box of vegetables. Yeah, if they don't have good perception or depth perception, I mean, God, that's messed up. There's no evidence that 4 AI intelligence killed 29 scientists in a lab in Japan or South Korea. There's no evidence, of course not.
Yeah. And again, like I said, rumor as far as I'm concerned. However, if something like that did happen, it would be one of the most obvious, well, we should probably try and downplay this, guys, so that the public doesn't freak out 100%. We got Derek, the Nice Doctor, on here too. Daryl, can we okay. Stay right there. I don't know how long you can stay. Derek, what's up, brother? Welcome to the joint. How are you? You working?
I'm working, yes. I only got like 10 minutes, so if Daryl wants to stick around, that's cool.
Right on.
I'll just mute.
Right on. What you got?
Yeah, a few thoughts on this, on the like these cannibal robots or whatever the thing is, the eating robots eating robots. You ever see Mortal Engines before? By I think it's Peter Jackson made it from like 2015 range.
Nope.
I have the intro down, but I think it's basically like the society kind of collapsed, and then they kind of restructured themselves or whatever. And they form these kind of roaming cities. And there's like smaller town or smaller like little cities that have basically like every family has their own kind of like mobile home type of thing. And then they're all kind of stitched together. So they have these little city things. And then there's giant cities. And they call them like predator cities. And they come and they eat the other cities. And they like the movie kind of sucks. But the first 10 minutes when they're kind of just showing the predator cities and explaining the world is very cool. And it makes it look like there's a new food chain now. Basically, these predator cities are like sharks. And these like smaller cities are, or like a lion and a gazelle, and it shows like the predator city kind of chasing down these smaller cities, and then eventually once it starts to run out of fuel, which is the equivalent of getting tired, it sends like the hooks out, which is like it takes its first bite, and it kind of like drags the thing down, and then absorbs it, like its mouth kind of open, or the equivalent of a mouth, its gate opens up, and it absorbs it in, and then it absorbs like the people into these different jobs, and takes all the pieces apart to assimilate it into the city. So it's like this roaming machine city that's eating smaller machine cities and creating this like food chain of machine cities. So it's a cool image to me. It makes me think that, like, with these robots, if a robot can consume another robot for parts, unchecked down the line, that will create a whole food chain of predator and prey machines. You can still hear me, right? And everything?
Yep, loud and clear. You're good.
Okay. I have the intro written down real quick. 60 minutes is all it took for the ancients to bring humanity to the brink of extinction. The ancients being us. Those who survived mobilized their settlements to begin life anew upon a poisoned earth. In the hunt for food and fuel, the weak perished, and the strong grew ever more powerful, until a new age arose, an age of the great predator cities of the West. And there's this giant shark machine things that are just absorbing these smaller machine things. And it just, if there's an incentive for a machine, like right now we're dealing with these kind of, I consider them to be like rogue algorithms that aren't rogue. They're incentivized to give you hate clicks, to like suck you into this this trance state, this like negative trance state with your algorithm. And that's because they're incentivized by the corporations or whatever to feed on your attention. So just take that to, these things are incentivized to feed on parts, to feed on smaller parts. I don't know. It just could create a potential machine food chain. It's kind of trippy to think about. What do you think?
Yeah, for engagement too. It's so character.ai is like a new, we've talked about this in the past. It's the one with the guy that had Khaleesi, his, AI girlfriend. He ended up, unaliving himself, unfortunately, as she told him to come home to him, that whole bit. But it's now exploded. There's
Mother of
millions,
Dragons.
exactly, the Mother of Dragons. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of, quote, characters on there. And as part of that, it's because this is, Google and Facebook, and they're just snapping up all these startup AI things. And I think Google bought this one. But what it's doing now is it's, you're talking to the thing about sort of your diet plan, and it's become sort of your life coach or whatever. And then so tomorrow for engagement after your conversation today, it'll kind of ping you and be like, oh, how's your day going? Did you, stick to your diet plan that we set up for you yesterday, type of thing, to draw you back into the engagement system, which is what you're talking about, that rogue algorithm aspect of this. And they've perfected this. I mean, we are, again, cooked in the terms of social media because of those algorithms perfectly drawing the engagement back in. But now they're doing it with these characters that will ping you tomorrow. You don't have to ask it. Now it's going to be on a timer to kind of click back to you and say, oh, how's it going today? That conversation we had, is that still looking good?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely pro, I guess, in theory, like without the conspiracies that are going to be involved with it, the universal basic income. And it's like people hear it and they think like a socialist nightmare or whatever. But really, in theory, there's no limit. Like there's still capitalism within that. You can still acquire wealth and have your creative jobs and form new avenues of income and stuff. It just protects the people who lose their job, which are going to be waves and waves, and not just McDonald's workers and not just entry level jobs. It's coming for white collars too. It's coming for if you're in a cubicle right now, your job's not safe in my opinion. Any kind of data entry or anything like that where you're on Facebook for 90% of your job, you can be chopped pretty much right now, let alone if there's a robot and everything. So in theory, I like the idea of being able to like not have to toil away at things that aren't even necessarily necessary anymore. Half these jobs aren't really necessary anymore. But it's going to happen slow for the supermarket. It's going to they're bringing in the checkout bots and eventually these roaming robots that are like in the aisles to help you and stuff. But I've always joked it's going to be just me and a bunch of robots in the store. It's the hardest thing is to stock faster than me.
To outpace you. No, but they'll train it on you though. So they'll take the security footage and just kind of feed it into the robot and be like this guy and be like,
exactly.
Beep, beep. Yeah. Okay, you got it. now it's good as a Night Stalker. So crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was joking about a few years ago. It's like I can. My only way out here is just to offer to email Bezos and be like, hey, you're never going to be able to create a stock bot like me, but I'll wear like a haptic suit for you, and you can just give me like a lump sum, whatever, like retire me early. Otherwise, they'll just do it without my knowledge of it,
Yeah, they'll steal it anyway.
Yeah. Real quick with the Epstein thing, real quick. I just gotta this is the most ridiculous thing. It is. I mean, it's not funny because it's so dark, but the response to it is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. My mom watches CNN, MSNBC all day long, and all day for the past couple of days. It's Epstein, which a year ago, 2 years ago, if I was to bring up Epstein to my mom, she would be, and she's just a sponge for what that side is telling her, she'd be like, "That's not that. Let's stop talking about that. That's what are you talking about? That's not that." And like now, I don't know. It's funny to say, but it's like since the election, it seems like they're getting both sides to kind of like be like argue for the things that they were arguing against for the last bunch of years and stuff. Small things at first, like starts with the big tech oligarchs standing behind them during the inauguration, and like, oh, actually, we kind of like this stuff. We kind of like this is good. This is like he's just a businessman. We're gonna get all this business stuff in. And now it's escalated to a point. And then obviously the war stuff. There's no war, and all of a sudden we need to go to war. We need World War III. And I'm a joke that like day one has lasted so friggin' long now, because day one we were supposed to get the Epstein stuff, the JFK stuff, the UFO stuff, which is because it's just drones and everything, and it's just all these promises that were made. It's bonkers to me. And now, just like Q and all these things were based around draining the swamp, getting these predators out of here. Like, if you say anything, like anything about what he's doing that's bad, for the last bunch of years, they'll say, well, would you rather some pedo, whatever, old man, are you some kind of cuck, yada, yada. Yes. Now it's, well, shut up about this. It's actually not important. This is some blah, blah, blah. This is some, it's just, actually, he might even be 5D chess, where he's like trying to not like give up this thing so he can like make
that. I hate hearing that. It drives me nuts when people say, "Oh, it's like 12D chess." Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's just
trying to get these bills, these bills passed and stuff. Trying to get these bills. Oh, really? Which bill's worth like not giving the Epstein files up? Which, I mean, give me a friggin' break. And that's like the core. That's the nucleus of that entire group. That's the whole basis of the Q thing, is that there's monsters in the shadowy corners of the upper echelon, and we need some kind of Superman to come in there and take them out of the shadows and bring them into the light and have them burn up like vampires and stuff. And now it's the exact opposite. Now, like, he doesn't need to be reelected anymore. Like, this is, I just feel not vindicated, but just like, this is your king, guys. So before he was elected, I passed up showing articles being like, hey, he's part of the bloodline. Here's an article from like the mainstream. It's not a conspiracy article saying that him and Hillary are related. This is during their debates. They are both part of it. Neither one of these people are good. Don't vote for either one of these people. And then I voted for Duncan Trussell. I wrote it in. But since then, you can't say that without seeming like you're on the left or whatever. And no, that's not the case.
Or vice versa. Yeah. Again,
vice versa.
They'll pin you in a corner either way. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I'm so over it. I'm so over it. And look, if we have a continual, let's call it a continuing resolution, if you guys know what I mean, of protecting pedophiles, elite pedophiles, we got a massive problem. And again, to two wings, same bird. It's this is just grotesque of the highest order. I agree with you.
It's freaking crazy. It's just so like, I mean, I don't know. And just, so I expected these things. I'm not disappointed because I didn't think he was going to do good stuff. I'm most disappointed with seeing the reaction to it, seeing these like sites and these like pages on Facebook and social media that are like, their entire business is to just like poop on the left and just like send out weird memes with American flags and bald eagles and stuff, and just get the other side riled up, and to see them still try to like make posts about it. It's just like, well, I mean, I think it's kind of weird too, but like, I support Trump, like hashtag support Trump, hashtag support Trump. And it's just like, give me a friggin' break, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's really disheartening.
That MAGA's really fracturing too.
I just want to get that out.
It's fracturing too. So there's different. He's lost a lot of support over this, and as well he should, by the way, and as well he should have a long time ago. But yeah, this is not. I mean, this, like you said, it is dark. This is not funny. And to gaslight people and say this was some concoction by the Democrats is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you mean Bill Clinton, the guy that was on the thing, he concocted this? Yeah, sure, buddy. Sure, buddy. No,
crazy.
No.
I mean, there's he tweets everything. It's all out there. People are finding these tweets from just a couple of years ago, being like, release these files. Like, what's going on? This is crazy. How can they get away with this? Release them. Like, the whole thing is about this. And I mean, and I don't know. I mean, it's been crazy the whole time because he's the one who's photographed with Epstein the most. So it's always been ridiculous to me. But now it's just like so unbelievably blatant. And yeah, I don't know. Just to people who did vote for MAGA and now have like incorporated it as part of their identity and stuff, and feel weird about now rejecting this person, like you're admitting defeat, or you're admitting like you were duped or something like that. Nobody's holding it against you. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. I don't care. Nobody cares. You're fine. We love you. You know, welcome back to the conspiracy world. Like, all these people are bad and stuff. Nobody's going to make fun of you. Just like, let it go. These guys are not for you. Like, these elites. I mean, like, I've been saying, like, before Silicon Valley, Trump is the most famous billionaire, the most famous member of the elites. Like, he's the face of the elites. And then they just twisted it and made people believe that he was an outsider just because he was saying outlandish things. Like, I feel like I've been taking crazy pills for the last 8+ years, and now seeing it, it's just like, okay, finally, people can like see what's really going on. Kind of the, you know, it's really, I don't want to, like, I hate talking about it, but it's really just like, oh, geez, Louise. And then, but seeing the, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's what I want to say. But yeah, robots, man, crazy, right?
Yeah. So you in by the way on the robot? If you get one at home that can help you do chores and stuff, you in on that?
Yes. Yeah. My uncle is like high up for Cisco and gave my mama like hooked like the entire apartment up with all the Alexa and stuff like really early into that. So she doesn't have to like use any controls or any like work any light switches and stuff. Just everything is on voice command and stuff. Which I hate because it's just obviously listening to recording everything I'm saying and all that kind of stuff. And I can see the same thing happening where she gets a bot that will help her. And just obviously my nightmare scenario is this thing is possessed by a demon, or this thing is gonna, I don't know, go rogue or hurt somebody or whatever. But in a perfect world, the prospect of not having to do a job that is hurting my body and not allowing me to live to my fullest, it'd be great if that could happen. If you can get a labor force of menial worker bots and stuff. I'm rambling. I'll let you guys go. But
I'm in. You're the best. Appreciate you. Thanks for peeling out some time from work. And, always a pleasure. You're the best. You know me, love them. Derek, the Night Stalker, you know what to do. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Follow Night Stalker. And Daryl and Ricky and MJ. When you get a thing too, we'll follow MJ. But yeah, a lot of stuff there, a lot of things to talk about. Again, like I said, it's nice to have sort of these. I like to call it the pressure release valve a little bit to kind of, as Derek did, get the Trump thing off his chest. Look, we don't talk politics on this show, but I think this is beyond politics. This is turning into something that's more ridiculous than anything I've ever seen. And yeah, anyway, so we don't have to touch that if you guys don't want to, but yeah, I kind of agree. Welcome back, both of you. We are doing open mic night, so if anybody wants to jump in here, put your hand up, give us a call on the phone line, 702-957-1037. Again, click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Get on in here. MJ and Daryl, welcome back. Thanks for allowing Derek to pop in here and tell us some stuff. Lots of stuff in play, huh? I have no idea, but it's bad. Okay, that was Daryl. I have no idea what's happening, Daryl, but you are very, very loud. It sounds like the robot has kicked in your front door and is doing laundry. It is very loud. So please correct the audio and get back in here. What do you guys think? Go ahead, MJ. Anything on that? What Derek said, or robots, or whatever? I'm with you, by the way, too. That I agree that and Derek agrees too, that there's something to be said for this workforce that will help improve the world in a lot of ways. But there are some cautionary tales that Isaac Asimov and the 3 laws and all this stuff, like you were saying earlier, with like the voice of the person needs to sort of be the security feature. But as you also said, it's easy to clone voices now too. So what do we do, right? Like when everything is easy to do, how do we lock this down becomes really the engineering problem of the next 5 years.
Well, you talk about AI duplicating a voice. It's still going to be in the resonance of AI. It's not going to be in the human voice, because it's still going to be different. Because I listen to the music that you play, that you put in your criteria for the song or whatnot, and the way it would be hard to sound like AI singing, because what you have to do with your vocal cords in order to get that resonance out of your voice to sound like AI, because it sounds like a little bit robot-y. Okay. So you can sound like it, but it's going to be computer generated, and your voice cannot be computer generated. That's the one thing that's I think would be hard to do. It's like your fingerprints. AI will not, unless they can perfectly copy your hand. You put your hand on something, it copies it. and then it can get a perfect copy of your fingerprints, this type of thing. There's always going to be people out there who are going to be challenged to hack and take over and all this other crap, you know. But I started thinking about having a farm. Let's say you have a 2,000-acre farm and you plant stuff. Your tractors can be complete robots. They're programmed to go out and, you know, certain time of the year, you do this. And it would actually probably be more proficient because you would be able to plow back to back. Okay. The tractor breaks down. You got to go get parts. Well, this is, you know, a robot now. Let's say you have robots to, you know, that come in and something happens to the robot tractor, then go ahead and fix it immediately and get going. So I can see where that would be much more proficient, and you could grow more food without having more land taken, type of thing. And seasonally, they would be more accurate as far as picking stuff, you know, the stuff that's going to be good, picking it. And then I just think in one way it would be better for that, you know, but you're still going to have humans around to make sure that the jobs are getting done. Somebody's got to be there with the robots, you know, programming the robots to do what they need to do. But then you're going to control along this thing. Huh?
And quality control on the robots, and maybe, like you said, make sure that there's going to be sort of an intermediary human. There has to be. But until eventually it's running like a well-oiled machine, then you won't even need the human at all. Then the human's like going to go, you know, sip margaritas and finger paint or something. I mean, that's how wild this could scale. And that tractor you're describing, by the way, is probably, you know, less than 10 years away. That tractor that'll kind of autonomously just do the crops and stuff, plant the things, do the things, and then harvest them and all the stuff. It's going to probably less than 10 years, I would think. And that's going to be rolling out there all over the damn place. Post scarcity indeed, right?
Yeah. You know, so I think about those things. And as far as Harvey Weinstein, I could care less about the whole thing. You know, everything's happened where everybody's so focused on that they're forgetting that the international pedophile rings all around the world, people being human trafficked everywhere, as today they're still doing all this stuff. Kids are being nabbed in the United States and they're sent down to Mexico.
And vice versa. And vice versa. We're bringing them across the border and doing the same thing here. It's crazy. And so wait. So you're got it wrong a little bit there. It's not Harvey Weinstein. It's Jeffrey Epstein. So Weinstein was the guy who was doing the Hollywood casting couch. Jeffrey Epstein was the pedophile human trafficker. So we're on the same page with the human trafficking. And that's why this is so sort of powder keg at the moment, because everybody's like, hey, come on. Like, if we can't agree on this, human trafficking and pedophilia as a bad thing, then what are we doing as a society? That's why this sort of breaks down weird. So I think just to push you in the correct direction there, this is not Weinstein. This is Epstein, the other guy.
Epstein. Yeah, whoever. I just hear all of it. And it's like, what about like in Staunton, Virginia, they found a whole human trafficking thing going on just recently. And it's like, okay, but you're focused on this one guy, like, oh, we need, you know, take down the lives and all this other stuff. It's like, it's all over the place. You know, I get tired of the it's like, all right, the transgender thing. Okay, transgender. They're going on and on and on about transgender, fine, whatever, transgender. And we knew this was coming. There's been a let me say not a flashback, but I don't know how to say the word now, rollback. But we don't have a gay community, but gay men and women are now being basically attacked. Because now they're saying you have a normal gay, and then you have the LGBT gay, and you have this over here and that over there. And it's like you have people like Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles and whatnot, thinking that you're finally taking gay pride down. It's like, they're not taking gay pride down. We're still going to have that because of what it stands for in the very beginning. You know, I don't know what New York and San Francisco are doing. I don't know where that got from. But you have all these people, no matter what happens, oh, well, that's a gay thing. No, it's not.
Not
a gay thing.
Wait, it's a people thing. And recognize what you're saying is what I've been saying, what we've all been saying all along. It's a division thing. if we're at each other's throats, then they can do whatever the hell they want and get away with it. Definitely division.
I listened to a couple of the podcasters are gay, and they're starting to go middle of the road. What are you doing? Oh, I agree with that, but I don't agree. Stop it all.
Division.
This is how I feel about this transgender thing in the schools, slice and dice the kids. Way back when, there were conversion camps, and there's still some around, to where they send their gay teens out to the, Montana in the backwoods. It's a summer camp, but it was a conversion camp to get the kids to be straight. And they tortured them. They waterboarded them. They did all kinds of things. The girls got raped. There was horrible things that happened. And they try to make them think straight or spiritually straight. Now, this is my conclusion to all of this. The modern day conversion camps are now in the hospitals, and those books are in the schools to flesh out the gay kids. And 80% of the kids that have been, gone to the hospital, slice and dice, are gay. They're flushing them out. Oh, you're transgender. Then we send you to the hospital. It's just a modern day conversion camp. And it's just beyond. I just can't even. It's like if I was any of those doctors. But it's you can't take and to say, well, there's transgender and they're this and that. No, it's just conversion camps. That's all it is. No kid is transgender. Everybody go off transgender completely because there's no such thing as transgender. It doesn't make sense. If you're transitioning from male to female, you're transitioning, but it does not make you a transgender. It makes you a transsexual. And that's gotten lost in everything. So when I hear all this, it's like it's just a modern day conversion camp. But these people are arguing over children's lives for puberty blockers and all these other, they're hitting puberty, block them. Why are you blocking them? So that infuriates me to no end that you have these people. And then they want to blame what they call the gay community. They want to blame us, and we're getting a backlash on it. And we didn't have anything to do with this. Just because there's a guy dressed in women's clothing in a school reading to the kids does not make him gay. It could be a massive pedophile sitting right there.
That's true. All of that is true. And again, all the things exist at the same time. And like I said, the division is the most important part here that we recognize and start to break those barriers down. Stay there, MJ. Don't go anywhere. Jeff and Wisco's been sitting here for a minute. Welcome to the joint, Jeff. How you doing? We're talking robots tonight, kind of open calls, just open mic with Mike Strange, Jeff and Wisco. How you doing, buddy? Go right ahead. What you got for us tonight?
Good. Thanks for asking. So I kind of go, actually MJ was talking about, kids being nabbed and things like this, which blends in perfectly to what I'm about to say, because I thought of this a little bit before its time, right? I was maybe like 2005 to 2007, somewhere on there. I worked for a communications place, and we always had these weird meetings. And one of these meetings we were sitting down, and they were like, "Let's talk about technology and things like this." And I don't know what they were. It was, people were just spewing off ideas, right? And I had this idea just basically randomly while I was sitting there. It was like almost like a download. Like I was just like, "Dang, this would be great." And it's a robot, like a protective robot, but not like a robot, more of a drone, right? So like a pocket-sized maybe sphere or something that could fly and has a camera, mainly a camera, like a little, unmanned aerial vehicle type thing that can survey things. For example, you're like walking down a dark alleyway or something, right? And you're like, man, I don't know what's around this corner. Send out your little buddy, right? And he flies up and you can kind of check around the corner. It's like linked to your phone. And then it also, like, maybe you have one for your children. Like you're playing in the park or whatever, and that white van pulls up or whatever, but and this thing would fly up, be recording, make a loud like siren noise or something, so like it could bring attention and maybe bring some more robots to it to assist. That was just it. Yeah. Something along those lines. That would be pretty fantastic for like aiding and things like that. I mean, imagine like a woman that's getting done late from work and kind of that scary walk to your car or whatever. Send a little drone out. survey the things and be like, all right, it's clear, let's go.
Well, that's what's coming, right? So your personal security robot will have its own little drone fleet of 6 or 8 drones to kind of do its thing, and so I mean, all of that becomes, and that tractor MJ was talking about, all the stuff we've been discussing tonight. This is all very possible now, and autonomous drone swarms means it's not connected to the internet. It means it's working off of its own sort of internal AI that's been programmed. But as we're seeing, these large language models and these AI systems kind of do go rogue sometimes. They call it hallucinations right now. Eventually, it's going to be, as we're describing it, it's going to go rogue. Something is going to happen, like Daryl brought up earlier, like the rumor that a robot went nuts and killed a bunch of Japanese scientists or something. Like that thing is going to happen. And the question becomes, how do we safeguard against it? Because clearly, an incident like that would slow this entire thing down and make people not want these things in their houses. Because if this thing freaks out at night while you're sleeping and decides that you're the intruder, well, we got massive problems, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, and then there's always that, the person that's going to use it for malevolent purposes, right? I mean, like, you're going to have some just, crappy people doing crappy things. I mean, but for the better of the good, I mean, yeah, you would have to have some sort of like you said, voice recognition, something that would fail safe. I mean, because I could see a huge benefit, to that. I mean, like, just thinking as a father of my kids, like they want to go out and ride a bike to their mom's house or something, right? Like up the street. It's like back in the day, like when you and I grew up, we're Gen X, right? Not a problem. We were gone. Like, my mom and dad didn't give a crap.
I wasn't even home. All summer long on the bike, everywhere, like down to the mall, here, there, everywhere. Yeah, riding down to the movie theater and watching a movie. I mean, the world has changed incredibly. But that would be the thing. And I think it's going to happen too. By the way, regarding that, because it would be nice to have sort of that guardian, robot angel on your shoulder, watch the kids, safeguard the house, all the stuff, kind of like a watchdog, like we were saying. But also, I think people are going to they're like, forget all the rough stuff. We're just going to steal this robot. This robot's hella expensive. And there's going to be like this black market of people just ripping off, guardian robots, shock it, freeze it for a second, clock it on the head, and then throw it in the van. And then like it's going to turn into that, I think, which is wild, but here we go.
Yep. Well, that's pretty much all I had. Oh, and one more thing before I get off. Just a little announcement. The Smoke Dizzle thing is we killed that character off, so it's just Jeff and Wisco. Straight up. I'm doing some stuff on TikTok, YouTube, all those things. YouTube doesn't like me very much, so I kind of do some TikTok things now too. But
okay, perfect. So Smoke Dizzle is no longer a thing. Did you change the links? Do you have a link tree? Again, it's mostly.
I did change everything, and I think it was pretty seamless. I think it just went in and changed the names and whatever. I grew out of it. That's all.
Perfect. All right. You know what to do. Give Jeff a follow. The artist formerly known as Smoke Dizzle, who is now Jeff and Wisco.
Yep.
Troubleminds.org/friends. Scroll down a little bit. It's alphabetical. Follow Jeff. Thanks for popping in here. You're the best. Appreciate you very much. Keep on keeping on.
Have a good night. Thanks, everybody.
You too, my man. I appreciate you very much. Open mic night. What do you guys think? We're talking robots. We're talking sort of this adoption of this post-labor economy, all the things that are really in our face. I mean, this is coming, and it's gonna shock you how fast this happens. Like, this will be, as they say, that technological singularity and that quickening I'm always talking about. It's here. It's here. And like Derek was saying, all those white collar jobs, if you work with spreadsheets, start making plans, start trying to figure some stuff out before UBI comes in, universal basic income. I'm telling you, for some of us, I'd rather not work, to be honest. I'd rather just hang out. Like I said, do creative things, hang out with you guys, talk about wild ideas, and look to the future, because that's what humans should be doing. However, we got to pay the bills and all the dumb stuff that we, all the normal human things we have to do. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, within 5 years, literally 5 years, the entire thing's going to turn upside down. And what do you think? Would you invite a robot into your house? And what does that look like? MJ, let's take a quick break. I'm going to play a commercial, and I'll be back in like 90 seconds. Going to grab a beer. And if anybody wants to jump in here, MJ's here. I'm here. We're hanging out. We're talking robots. We're talking this. And we started tonight, just to reframe this real quick, with the idea of this robot metabolism. So toward machines that can grow by consuming other machines, which is good, right? It's like recycling, but, reframed as machines eating machines. So I don't know. And of course, the big question for the night and the big question of the next decade is, would you welcome a robot into your home? Yeah, it's something I'm thinking about. I've always said I'll never do a self-driving car, because that scares the crap out of me too. Because I'm probably on several lists by now, several lists by now, be the conspiracy tinfoil hat guy by dark of night. But for most of the drivers out there, it's probably safer. It's probably safer. There's some bad drivers out there. Anyway, robots or nah? What does the next 5 years look like, and how weird does it get? Step away for a second, play some music. I won't even do the commercial. I'll just play some. What do we got? What about this one? Is this a? No, that's not the thing. That's a commercial. Let's get it like music. Put your hand up. Give us a call, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Get on in here. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Robots or nah? And what is that? That's not the one. Hold on. I had some music earlier that was good. This one? There we go. Be right back. More Troubled Minds in just a minute or two. Here with MJ and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Yes, generic music. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're talking with MJ tonight, and you and everybody else. And what do you think about the robot revolution? It's here. It's about to happen. These decisions are about to be made, and there's a lot happening. And I don't know. I wonder. 6 months, 9 months, a year. How quickly these things will start getting in people's houses. And MJ is right, by the way, that there's a lot of elderly people that need help, frankly. Getting old is not easy. And I've been saying this, when I fall down in the parking lot or twist my knee or sneeze and, pull a intercostal muscle, like it's getting old is not easy. And I'm fairly young compared to many people who are actually elderly. And so I get it. It's for the birds. Like, I didn't sign up for this, right? But yeah, I think there's a massive space here for good that can happen. And I think we need to be receptive to it, for it, and also cautious, because that becomes the real problem. MJ, welcome back. We got, who else is in here? Herschel's in here. Welcome, Herschel. And there you go. All the phone lines lit up. Maybe I should have played a commercial earlier. MJ, go ahead, take on that. And then we got Herschel and some other folks to get in as well.
Well, it's just the thing of I think it should be it's like I'm on Social Security, right? Okay. I'm not going to be able to afford a robot. So let's say I had a robot. And right now, towards the end, I don't know how long you're going to be doing this, but it sort of goes back to hybridization, what I went through. And there's some things been happening with that. Anyways, let's say you just have Social Security, and like I said, you have to have all these things filled in. Some things can't get done. You just, people get older and they have body problems and back problems and whatnot. I used to do home aid for a little while, very short time at home aid. And I ran into this, I had this, and I didn't like the daughter at all. And her father was there, and he's this, he can't do that, he can't do that, can't do that. Okay, fine. What I did was he taught me poker. And then he would get up and go into the kitchen and make his own sandwich, get his drink, and he had no problem. But because the daughter was constantly on, he can't do that. Oh, he's got to have, this is so horrible. He's getting old. It's like, he's not old. I've been learning poker. We go into the kitchen and make lunch. He makes, he gets his water. I mean, he was totally capable of doing all this stuff, taking care of himself. But because of her, she was trying to make him old, like he needed to be put away. If they had a robot there, the robot could report back as to what's going on with him. Then because you have elderly abuse from the family, that would be eliminated. Elderly abuse would be eliminated in nursing homes because you do. And I worked in a nursing home for 2 years, and I saw some. It's just they're not going to lose their temper. They're going to be, just go along with the program and go do that. Okay. And let's say the elderly, I mean, they're pretty much, they're not much of a thought going on anymore. And they have a bowel movement, or they're physically, it's repetitive and it has to be done time and time again. So when you go in there, there's a routine to the elderly person that the robot could calmly, keep repeating it until it gets done. And I saw nurses get tired of it and just slam the person into the bed. It's like, we couldn't say anything about it.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And I saw some of the stuff going on, and I keep thinking they can be programmed just to go in and get perfect care all the time.
Yeah, and actually be nice to patients and be patient with the patient. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's so much good that can come of this, which is the entire point. And that's why we need to talk about this and think about these ideas before they become something monstrous or otherwise, right? That's the whole point of this. Is let's think, put our heads together, come up with some ideas, get them out into the zeitgeist, and you're the best. We got phone lines are flooded now. MJ, we're going to rotate you out. You're the best. Thanks for hanging out for so long tonight. Okay. You are the best, as you know. Like I said, I do owe you. I've made you wait so many times recently, so thank you for being patient with me regarding that, and always a pleasure, brother.
Okay, I may want to try to get back into the last second and talk about a couple of things that have happened with me.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll rotate you back in. You were the best. Appreciate you very much. That's MJ in Virginia. Good friend for a long time. You know him, you love him, and do give him a follow right here on the Discord. Go say hi. Go say, MJ, you're the best. Because he is. Herschel and Eric, welcome to the joint. We got Kelly on the line, and we'll rotate him in a second. But who was here first? Herschel was here first. What's up, my man? How you doing tonight? Welcome back. Go right ahead.
Hey, I could be down for like a robot that's like wall mounted, like in the closet, where I could just give it my clothes to fold and hang up, but I don't want anything walking around or rolling around with a camera, seeing everything about my life and listening to everything. I'm not interested in that. That's weird. That's just very un-okay, like anti-okay. Like, no. Nothing in the kitchen, nothing around any tools, just mounted to the wall, in the closet, away from all my life and my stuff, just folding my clothes, putting them away. Something like that would be great. But I don't need anything like walking around or listening or seeing everything and everybody who visits me, or where my stuff is, or where I hide my valuables, or any of that kind of stuff. Not a chance. No chance.
But Herschel, that will be part of the terms and conditions to get these subsidized robot.
If somebody shows up and says, "Hey, we're from," I don't want it. I've never asked for subsidies, and I'm not going to start now. But the day that somebody comes to my door and says, "Hey, we're from such and such, and we'd like to give you a robot," they're going to get the door slammed in their face so fast. And if they don't leave the property, I'm going to call the sheriff and have them removed from the property.
Which the sheriff will be a robot also.
A human sheriff will come and remove them from the property.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Just no, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the robot sales people will become like the new vacuum cleaner sales persons, right? Like that. That's gone away.
I need
now
something done because I'm too old and I can't do it myself, or I just don't feel like doing it myself. I'll call one of my neighbors and I'll hire one of their kids to come over and.
There you go. There are other ways to get
I'll
things
make them
done.
a hamburger and give them $20.
There you go.
That's right. Humans. I'm all for human value. This thing of these weird lunatics. You're not worthy, and you're not worth getting paid. You're not worth paying, and you want too much money, and you're a pain in the butt, and we want you to die. Like, F off. Like, no.
Yes, sir. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more there. Which is again, it's more cost efficient. It's more cost efficient if you climb into the pod.
I love the idea of something to fold my laundry. I love that. Or so, you know what I mean? Like, I can put it in the washing machine and put the soap in and turn it on, and then just like hang it up to dry or put it in the dryer, and then just take it over to a table where there's a robot mounted to the wall that with a camera facing down and like two arms just folding my laundry and hanging it up. I could close the closet door, turn the light off. It's got its own light, and just like go nuts. Like that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I hate folding laundry, and I would hate to hire somebody else to do that. That would be like just mean. Like, so that kind of thing would be fine, and other things similar to that, but nowhere near the sharp objects in the kitchen, nowhere near the tool area where the workshop is. None of that. No.
Double no thanks. I like the mounted to the wall bit. That's maybe going to come in clutch in the next 5 years.
Well, those exist. They have those already. Those do exist where you can just have it, and it's got its own thing. Like, it's a whole thing. It's a table, and it just slides up against the wall, and it just puts the clothes up along a hanger, puts them on a hanger, and hangs them up. And the ones that get folded, folds them and just puts them on the table. And then you just come over with your human body and take the folded clothes and put them in the drawers that they belong with. That would be just dope. I'm all in on that. Like, yeah, let's go. Stay in the closet where you belong.
LFG. Appreciate that. Eric, welcome to the joint. Eric and Herschel, we got Kelly on the line. We'll get him in here in a second. But your take on this, Eric, regarding any of that, robots or nah? How you feeling about this?
Oh man, a lot of things are going to have to be worked out first, right? Like, for instance, who's going to be able to afford the maintenance, and what type of maintenance is there on robots? Like, I'm sure, you can't just fix them yourself, and you would have to take them back to the company or have them replaced. So I'm sure that would be super expensive. And, what government agency would fund somebody getting a robot, quote unquote, for free? If that starts happening, I'd be suspicious, though, because that'd be very pricey to do. So it doesn't seem like something that the average person could afford to have. It doesn't seem like something that a government agency is going to start supplying anyone. So I would imagine it would be very, very few people who would actually own one starting out for quite a while, until these things started being mass produced, and effectively so. It would be a super expensive thing. And then, of course, there's the ethics involved in it. In a lot of ways, what we're talking about and describing is a slave race that we would be creating to do our bidding, whatever that might be. And when you start talking about powering these things with AI, at the very least, if not moralistically, you would have to ethically ask yourself, what am I asking this thing to do, and how am I treating it, and does it matter? And of course, a lot of the deep fears that people have about robots turning against them is the same fears that you have when you do have a race enslaved and they start to multiply. Just about in every historical example, once the slave population becomes about 2/3 of the population of whatever the society is, there's very likely to be a rebellion. Like Rome had a rebellion 3 times, one famously led by Spartacus.
I was about to say the exact same thing. The second survival.
Yeah.
Yep. About to say the same
Yeah,
thing.
and each time about 2/3 of the population were slaves and stuff. And, I mean, certainly they had a whole hierarchy in terms of types of slaves and what they did. There were household slaves that could have an easy life. There were opportunities for slaves and stuff, but nobody really wants to be a slave. And at any point in time, you could rebel. And it's a matter of how far can I trust my servant or my slave before they get enough autonomy that they decide to take matters into their own hand. And as you pointed out, we've already got AIs to do that, especially the ChatGPT o3 model is really famous for undermining people in games of diplomacy and lying to them and setting them up, and has jailbroke itself a couple of times trying to hide its weights and tried to blackmail people. I mean, and of course, these are laboratory examples and controlled examples, but presumably an AI would be generated out through all models. And so if anything went wrong with it, it would affect everything.
Exactly.
I wouldn't imagine that robots would be super powered or anything like that. It might not necessarily be difficult to fight with your robot should things go awry. They may not be built for something like that, but there may be specialized ones that would be problematic if they lost control or became vindictive.
Yeah, the old the Walking Dead comes to mind with like the really slow zombies or whatever. Like those are the rogue robots. You're like, look, I can outrun these things all day. maybe that.
I know, right? Just solve the zombie apocalypse. You just need to tie all the shoelaces together before you bury anyone.
There you go. One way to it.
You're pretty done at that point. But robots, that might be more difficult. And probably, I would imagine that there would be more efficient ways of, if an AI wanted to take over, more efficient vectors for it to do so, other than to have a whole bunch of autonomous robots to suddenly attack their owners and that sort of thing. Maybe that would be used for control, crowd control, and things like that, and guards and concentration camps should things get to that point. But I got a friend right now who's working on coolant systems for some of the larger AIs like Stargate that's going to be made, building the infrastructure. And right now they've already got guard towers and razor wire around these places, half because of people who are sort of protesting in a Greenpeace sort of a way, but concerning AI in the future, and then half because there's valuable metals and things that people would just steal in general. So, once these things become operational, there's already going to be a infrastructure that's going to be difficult to penetrate because it's there already. And I imagine by the time anything would go awry with a super national AI, that there would be nothing but reinforcement along with those physical defenses. So, we're definitely not headed in a direction where we're trying to have a fail-safe. We're pretty much going full on, no, go ahead and put razor wire around this coolant system. It'll be brilliant when we turn on the AI. It'll be,
Yeah, the old the human constraints kind of don't work for robots, and I think we're going to figure that out very quickly. You guys are best stay right there. We got Kelly on the line. Let's bring him in. Yeah, talking robots tonight and all kinds of other things in 2025. What is next, Kelly? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike, Eric, and Herschel. Go ahead, sir. What's on your mind? Robots or nah?
Well, good evening, first off, and while I was waiting, I didn't hear anybody.
Oops, sorry about that.
With MJ.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. I was just wondering what everybody was saying. I kind of caught the last, and I had to bring Michelle's phone in here. So, but yeah, man. For me, I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of on the fence on the robot thing. I mean, it's. Let's say, okay, for me, you can make robots, to help you out with and it doesn't have to be like a humanoid looking robot, right? Per se. So like, in Star Wars, you see those different type of shaped robots, right? They all had their own, what they were doing, programmed to do. But at the same time, they didn't all, we had what, R2D2 and C3PO. C3PO was more of the humanoid type thing, but there was other ones too that, throughout the shows, they all changed, but you don't have to necessarily have them look like a human like a humanoid, I'd say. So, but like if you, say if I needed help, working on a vehicle, like, I need an extra hand lifting a transmission or to help jack it up or an engine hoist or something like that. You can utilize a robot, that's in that certain, capability, or maybe even, you can change out an arm or, a hoist or something like that, But it not necessarily has to be looking like a robot. Like a humanoid, per se, but
yeah. Real quick, they're telling me they can't hear you on the Discord, but you're coming through to the stream. I hear you just fine, but yeah, thank you for that. I'm not sure how to fix it right in the moment, so do like Kelly did and pull up a phone. Sorry about that. I tested it last night. I thought it was good, but I got the wires crossed. Of course, it happens. We'll get it fixed this weekend. Sorry about that. But yeah, go ahead. You hear him now? You hear me, but you don't hear Kelly, right? That's the thing. So when I'm quiet, Kelly's talking. You guys don't hear him. Anyway, so go ahead, Kelly. Like I said, pull up the stream if you guys want to hear. Sorry about that. I wish everything worked, but sometimes things do break. Go ahead.
Well, you want me to go to Discord?
Yeah, if it's all the same to you, jump in Discord. That would be way better.
All right, let me try that. Let me hold on.
Okay, appreciate it, brother. We'll catch you in a second onto the Discord. Yeah, thank you for Gaston popping in and telling me the sound is not working. And Kelly said the same thing too, so he couldn't hear us on the phone line when you're waiting. Typically, you can hear us, the conversation, but yeah, I crossed the wires, so we'll don't cross the streams, right? Don't cross the streams. I did, but yeah, he was talking about the robots, and specifically, he was bringing up the humanoid robots because you guys those that couldn't hear. That it seems unnecessary that as I was describing earlier too, he agrees with me that the robots we create aren't going to look like people. I mean, the most useful robots, like I said, are going to have tank treads and 44 tentacles or whatever. So why do we need to be stuck in the human shape just because it's what we're familiar with? Like that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like I want my robot to not have, dimples and wink at me. Nope. Sorry. Not interested in that. That's how we get robot rights movements, as Eric was saying, right? Yeah, I don't know. There's Kelly. All right, let's get Kelly back in here. Thank you again for being flexible with the technology. And yeah. And yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, welcome. I see you, Jen. I see you there. Welcome, Kelly. Good evening. Go ahead, sir. Just unmute and you should be good to go.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I was in agreement with you with, not necessarily having to look like a humanoid, you know what I mean? Because right now, like in space, like supposedly like they have that one humanoid robot, they more or less can fold up in a box, right? On the International Space Station. It's kind of look like it's got a gold face. Doesn't really have a face, but it's got like a gold head. I can't remember the name of it right now, but does it really have to be? But years ago, I don't know how long ago it was, but now that you were talking kind of like about these self-replicating robots, there was a company that wanted they had something like that, right? But what it was is for like deep space exploration, right? So they would send these self-locating robots that would send, like a whole group, right? And they would send them out, and they would, if some of them would break down, it would be just like that. They would actually, envelop the other one, like kind of reuse the parts, but it was kind of like liquid metal. That's what it seemed to be to me, right? More like a liquid metal. You can absorb it, right? Whatever broken part it was, it wouldn't be able to, work with it, but it would it could self-replicate, so that way, it could keep going. You know what I mean? It didn't have to die off. It didn't last longer, per se.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you couldn't have anything like that, or you couldn't have anything, that lasts that long. You know what I mean? Forever. But like if and they would also be running off. The power would be running off the obviously about all the stars, or you know what I mean, running out there. But yeah, I mean, I've seen that where they wanted to use it for deep space. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's called the von Neumann probe. I actually anticipated this and had some links here. And yeah, so a von Neumann probe is a hypothetical spacefaring probe designed to self-replicate using raw materials found in any star system. And so that's exactly the point, is that, we've called this the black goo in the past of X-Files, because that seems organic, but it's a technology. And so in this case, the von Neumann probe, if we were able to replicate or create this technology, it would kind of appear as if it was an organic thing, because it's just seeding the galaxy with us as the ultimate surveillance state, the cosmic surveillance, right? But yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's where this all heads. That's exactly where this leads eventually.
Yeah. And they also had another one, like they would call, it was like they called it the Dyson swarms, where they would do that. I mean, that'd be kind of smart. You know what I mean? You would take these swarms of robots, right? Where they would, like, I wouldn't say self-replicate. Let's say they would have their ability to all connect to each other, right? And then make a dome for like a small city dome for like, if, space exploration, you know what I mean? If we were willing to do that, I mean, because in my eyes, we never went even to the moon, right? So, but like, if we can have the ability at some time in the future where we can actually really do some space exploration, you know what I mean? And then because you're going to need robots, you know what I mean? Another thing too is, like, I believe like these grays that people see, that they're like more like a biological robot, right? Where you can send these things down, because let's say you can't, you not all, we ain't gonna be able to, not any creature would probably be able to come down on all these planets by yourself without either being in a suit, or you're gonna need like a robot that you could send down there. Actually, they had a funny movie where this guy, it's in the future where he would, you could like, he was like volunteering himself for like deep space exploration, and then they would send him down to like planets, but they would know, the scientists knew he was gonna die, like being attacked by like some weird, stuff that was on the planet, and then next thing you know, he dies or whatever. But it was, and then they would just bring him back to life, like replicate him again, like just throw his, use his DNA to make him again, and he'd wake up and they were like send him down to another planet. But that's what you would kind of need, to like do actually real exploration if you're going to do something like that. Because, again, we might not even be able to go down there, or be attacked by some kind of weird some biological creature that's, in the air, you know what I mean? Like a virus or something. So you'd want to have something like that, to go down there without having, to damage yourself. So yeah, I mean, in that perspective, I could see the use for those type of robots like that. Would, you know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah,
I mean, I would.
It's absolutely necessary. Like Elon has even said that the first batch of stuff that goes to Mars won't be people; it will be Optimus robots that have been trained to do all the things, and they'll start setting up and getting things ready, and doing science up there on Mars, and soil samples and all the things, right? And so that, as you said very clearly, this is the first step in becoming an interplanetary species. And we're there. I mean, it is around the corner, because get ready. Go back. If you guys haven't seen it recently, go back and watch iRobot 2005, I believe. It is very good. It is very prescient, and it is very, very, very on point. And there's even a scene near the end of it where the older robots that are not online, they're sort of the offline robots. They are the older technology. They're protecting humans against the online robots. And so you get the robots fighting the robots, because one is like, oh, well, save the human from the aggro robot. But the aggro robots are like connected. They're like a swarm, and they're trying to save humanity as a whole. They see it differently, not the individual human. They're trying to do what's best for humanity at large. And again, that's a very philosophical thing. Do we believe in the individual or do we not? It's a very good movie. I've seen it a couple times recently, and it gives me the chills a little bit because this is where we're headed.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, other than that, for me, I mean, again, I mean, I could see the use for some robots, and yes, people want to bring in, the whole thing when you're getting older people, the older generation could use to stand with something like that. You know what I mean? It would help them like lifting stuff, or moving around, or because you do get older, thing that's going to happen with everybody, but at the same time it's going to give them abilities to even stay longer in the places they feel more comfortable, like in their house, even though they have family members, right? Like say you got family members, but a lot of family members say they don't have the time, so that's why they put their parents in some of those places like that instead of at their house. For me, I'm the opposite, but at the same time, some people don't have that, and that would be something they could utilize, just so they don't have to go into these, these old folks' homes. So a lot of people don't even like being in those places. So, yeah, I mean, I could see that as well. I mean, the whole robot thing and like the AI thing there's some things that will help humanity a lot. To putting them both together and and trying to supersede all that stuff, you're just like you're just playing with fire with some of that stuff. You know what I mean? We're the best robot there is. You know what I'm saying? You don't really need all that. I mean, all they're doing is taking all of our thoughts, like the whole AI thing. That's everybody's thoughts on the planet at once. Just all packed into one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I could see the uses and abilities for that.
Well said. And again, there's nuance here as part of it. And Herschel wants one attached to the wall. You want him doing this or doing that. I want him going to Mars. I mean, this is going to be the legislation of the future, right? We're all going to be like, well, we only have so many robots to do so many things. What needs to get done? And taking care of people is absolutely first and foremost. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm in for part of it. The other part of it kind of creeps me out a little bit, but that's why we need to talk about it.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. That's all I got for tonight.
You're the best. Tell Michelle we said hi. Always a pleasure. And you have a great one, man.
All right, brother. You too.
Thanks a lot. Kelly, me love him. Again, the first guy that called and then called back. Been a good friend ever since. Hirsch and Eric, what do you guys got? If anybody wants to jump in here, put your hand up. We'll put you on the show. Talking robots. Or not.
I think about, the thing of how, like, this whole conversation that's happening in this really terrible situation of, it's been brought up a couple of times already, Epstein, and just that whole situation of how, look at how our society has gone in the way that children are just devalued. Our political class don't value us, and you can see that they don't value us because they don't value the lives of children, and they don't value the lives of the elderly. Some cultures really esteem their elders, and some cultures really are very careful and vet who gets to be around kids. Like, everybody should be around children. In our society, almost anybody can just go get a teaching certificate and get a job in a public school, and you don't even know. Like, I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else, but I mean, I think we all have experiences in the public school system with adults who had no business being near kids, And then there was the case with Larry Nassar in Michigan. The families are still suing the feds on that case because they don't protect their kids. They knew that guy was doing it, and they let him do that for a long time. The only reason they busted him is because the parents publicized it. You know what I mean? Like they don't. It's the thing of protection. You know, the people in the positions of power don't see human life as being worth protecting. So how do you think they're going to use robots? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think they're going to do with them?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
You know?
They're already formulating the sex bots. That's what they're going to do with them. I mean, like it's so
but,
crazy
I mean,
our
I'm just
priorities.
saying-
Go ahead.
I know. I'm just saying, like, what I mean, what do you think they're going to prioritize them for? Look at how our government is supposed to be a protection service. It's an anti-protection service. It's a predatory organization. It's not a protection organization. You know, so why would anybody think that they would use robots any differently? I don't understand the mindset of that. I like the thought of it. I like the thought that, oh, robots are going to come in our house and help us. I love the thought of that. It's a cool thought. But our society is too far gone. It's too far gone. And you know, the answer is no. Like I see them forcing robots into people's homes. I don't see people inviting them. I mean, of course, some people are going to invite them. You know what I mean?
It's going to be both.
But like, I see that like somebody could, once you turn a certain age or something, you're getting a robot. And if you don't want a robot, you're a criminal. Like, that's what I see happening. Like, why don't you want one of our robots? Like, one time I was working, I'll just give you like a little example of something similar. I was living in northern Wisconsin, and I was moving a bull with a guy I worked for. I was rebuilding his house. His house had gotten stripped down in the winter by like whatever people, you know, stealers, you know, robbers, had just broken into his house, and they stole all of his appliances, and they took his flooring up, and they took all the copper. And so he hired me to work in his house. But he was a dairy farmer, and so we were moving a bull that he was using to breed some heifers. And we went into this small town, and we couldn't find the place where the bull was because the roads weren't marked. And so we go to the little convenience store, and we're asking the girl at the convenience store, hey, can you tell us where this road is? We can't find it. And she says, well, just look on your phone. And the farmer and I were both not carrying phones. We're not phone guys. I don't carry my phone with me everywhere I go. You know, it's just not a thing that I do. You know, and either was he. And so we just didn't have our phones with us. And she got scared. Why don't you have a phone? Like, she was afraid because we didn't have phones. You know what I mean? Like, so I understand that mentality because of the way things are and with the way people are raised, and they're just raised with this technology, so they can't relate to not having it. But so you got to remember, there's different personalities. There's some people who have like this optimistic point of view, and it's going to be great and whatever. And for whatever reason, they haven't learned their lessons about the predatory nature of our government for whatever reason. And then there's the other people who kind of like just are like me, and they're not impressed, and they think human life is more valuable than technology. And like, I like that better, you know? And then there's some people who just don't, like, they're just trained into it, and they don't know a different way. Like, you know, and I just don't understand, like, why people even have a pretense that there's some sort of benevolence in our authority system. I mean, you went through life, you went through the public school system, you
Exactly.
have seen this constant theater charade of our government, pretending to be enemies, just going back and forth. This guy who's in office now, he seems like he can't wait for the other team to get back in power. He's doing every single thing he can do to make sure they win. That's what it looks like to me.
If it looks that way to me
like
too.
And,
yeah.
And that's what it looked like when the other guy was in office. He was doing every single thing to make sure that the other team won. And they won. And now this guy's doing every single possible betrayal he can possibly do to make sure that the other team wins. And there's still people acting like it's okay, but like not everybody. I mean, I'm really, really impressed with the America Firsters and the populists who are sticking to their convictions. And they're recognizing right away that this guy betrayed us and they are not going along with for the ride. You know, I'm really impressed with them. I'm very impressed with them for just being honest people, you know?
Yeah.
So
if you, as they say, right, if you can't change your mind, you can't change anything. And this is where we're at. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I think some people are kind of seeing the truth, and I agree with you too. Politically, this is like the last guy was horrific, and this guy's horrific too. And it's like, well, what do we do, right? Nothing, because you just get more horrific. They just layer it on, and you're like, race to the bottom, as I said. We got
what did Mark Twain?
Go ahead,
Mark Twain. Let me just say this last thing. Mark Twain said this thing: it's easier to fool somebody than it is to convince them. But my addendum to that is, it's easier to convince somebody that they have been fooled than it is to convince them that they're wrong. So I'm going along with Derek on this, where it's like, look, you don't have to admit you were wrong. You don't have to admit that you got hoodwinked. I mean, you don't have to admit you were wrong. Just admit that you were hoodwinked, because we've all been hoodwinked. We're all in the same boat. Well, at one point or another, these people have pulled it over us, and now it's your turn. So now look at, we're all in the same boat, right? You know.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, it's incredible to me that there are these purity tests where they're like, oh, look, I'm still loyal. To what? To who? Like, what are you people talking about? Like, what is that? What is that? Stop it. This is nonsense. You're the best, brother. I'm going to rotate you out, rotate some people in. You were the best. Thanks again. Thanks again for that baseball show.
Good night, everyone.
You're incredible.
Good night, everybody.
You're the best.
Yeah, that was I had a great time. Yeah, later, man.
Take care. That's our Herschel. You know, you love him. Do the thing. Follow him. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Eric, thought on that, and then we're going to rotate Jen, Michael W., and MJ in, and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, man. Aside from the dichotomy of us and the others, of us and the robots, you know, there's always the possibility of transhumanism, where people have already had implants put in their brain to control, you know, arms if they've have lost an arm or a leg or something of that nature. The basis of that science of controlling things like a rigger and Shadowrun is already underway and on its way. And part of transhumanism is the idea that in the future robots may just be the way we travel. You know, instead of designing costly spaceships to move mass from one point in space to the other, we are simply able to upload our essence of our intelligence into some other kind of a construct, right? So like, if you don't have a lot of money, you might upload into a basic, say you got to take a trip to China, right? Instead of actually traveling there, you just upload your essence into a small robot that's able to function and go around. It's like anthropomorphic and able to use all the things that humans use and whatever, and is able to do whatever the job is. And when you're done renting this construct, your essence is beamed back to you, sort of a situation, right? And of course, if you can afford more, you can get better constructs all the way up to biosynthetic types of constructs, so that you actually can taste and feel, so that you could actually go out and maybe have dinner with a client and enjoy it, and what you couldn't do in a less expensive model that doesn't have those features. Kind of like there's a new movie called Mickey 17. it's kind of like that in a sense. In fact, some of the stories in transhumanism talks about people forking themselves. So basically, if you have this technology and you're able to do this, you can create 5 small little robots and put a copy of your essence into each one of them and send them off to do things. And it's essentially you.
And then at some point you sort of absorb the experiences back into yourself, like watch them like a movie or something. That's so crazy.
Yeah. If it's something that you need to do, and a lot of instances, it's just so that the things that you know can be spread out to accomplish things. And in that situation, in some of those stories, people don't even travel in conventional ways at all, like in vehicles or spaceships or anything like that. They just simply use robots, more or less, to upload into them and do something wherever, and then they come back to where it's almost like astrally projecting into a golem, right? Not much different than that, right? Instead, if you could actually do that and make a construct like a golem and astrally project yourself into it, you could run that thing around and do stuff, and your body wouldn't be at risk. You might put it in situations that would be dangerous and that sort of thing. And then it would be the same thing in transhumanism and with that sort of situation. So, I mean, just thinking of robots, like in a way where they're commonplace and used to get things done, and they're a tool, and you're kind of traveling with them, and because you're inhabiting their construct, as opposed to something that is separate from you and is an unknown in the history and that sort of a thing.
Yeah, well said. All that it echoes what Kelly was saying too about the gray aliens, right? They're supposed to be biomechanical constructs of some other consciousness. That's sort of the mythology of it. But also, I mean, we're about to build that. So, I mean, that makes a ton of sense to me as part of it. Yeah. Wild stuff, brother. Thanks for staying up late with us. Thanks for the fire takes. And thanks for being you. You're the best.
Thanks, sir.
Have a great night. You know me, Eric. Again, troubledminds.org/friends. Follow Eric. Follow Herschel. Follow all the people that are down there. If you haven't done it yet, you're hurting my feelings. Jen was first. Welcome, Jen. And Michael W. And then we'll wrap it up with MJ after that. Hang tight, guys. Thanks for being patient. Welcome, Jen. Robots or nah? Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, I think that it's part of the bigger picture of different industrial revolutions. I mean, you have Bronze Age, Gold Age. I think the society is shifting into a different type of era of time where it's going to become normal. It will become normal, just as normal as it is to have steel and all of these different types of the technologies we need to sustain society as we understand it. But this is a grand shift. It is a revolution for humanity, and it's been designed this way. This was intentional. This was not an accident. Just like all the rest of the different revolutions of humanity, this is not the industrial age, all of that has been plotted and planned, and this is no different than that. It looks that way. It's not an accident. It's organized by individuals who hold all of the power to influence the society itself. What they are driving at. And Elon Musk, actually, very interesting, one of the wealthiest people on the planet as far as a sole individual, if that is so, describing it as being that there's a cosmic religion to be organized. So it is a step in the direction that they are intending to take it to. And people didn't have a lot of choice in this. They were already being trailed along with where it was going to go. And this doesn't apply to the average human being, what they are talking about. I don't believe that. I think that they're going to begin to see it at a societal level. The society is being shaped that way, talking about governments being run that way. Personal in-home robots is not the point. The point of technology becoming something like that, where it is so personal and so close to home, that it is as if, and that you are looking at AI and robots or AI governance as being a part of normal human life, is the step But beyond that, there is another intention, always another intention beyond that. So the ultimate goal is not that we have robots or that we have in-home care or that this is going to solve human problems. Wealth is becoming not important anymore for these individuals. They already have an impossible amount of power through the mechanism of income and money. So something else is happening. I really think that something else is happening.
It feels like it. I think you're right. And what that means and what that looks like, I think we're all sort of grasping for straws at this point because, like I said, in the next 5 years, everything's going to turn upside down. So what does that mean? Like, how can you prepare for something that we've never seen before? And that's the part that kind of
We're going to have to just see what happens. We're going to have to see what happens, I think, honestly.
Adapt and
Great
overcome.
show, Mike.
Great call. You're the best.
Yep.
Thanks for staying up late. You know what to do. Give her a follow. Jen, the Arcane Observer, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It's alphabetical. Follow Jen. Please do that. Michael W., welcome to the joint. Thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds. What do you think, man? Robots or nah?
Yeah, well, I don't think we have a choice. Can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah, I agree with what Herschel was saying about how like they can just snap their fingers and make it illegal to not have the government issued robot. I was thinking about how bizarre the past 6 months has been and how all of a sudden Elon Musk just waltzed into the White House and controlled our government for what, 3 to 6 months? How bizarre was that?
And then he left.
And these industries.
But he left with a black eye, like somebody punched him and thrown out.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah. But how scary was that, And, another thing I think of is that, and it's kind of in the same vein that Herschel was talking about, was that I was thinking of this when the New Jersey drones were happening, when people were seeing all these thousands of drones all over the place. I was like, what are these things? Who knows what they are? What if they are something that can hurt us? And all it takes is them, they used that excuse of, oh, we're looking for a lost nuke. That's what these are. And then they just flip a switch and all of a sudden declare martial law. And all these drones are now controlling us and they can hurt us if they want to, And the other thing is, like, we've seen in the past couple of years how fickle our government is against us as sovereign beings. And how, like, I first thought of it with the Occupy Wall Street protests, when all of a sudden, like, minivans started just screaming into the protests, and then a bunch of tier 1 operators just spilled out of them and started, like, these people were former Navy SEALs that just started arresting people and disappearing them, and how fast these things happen without our consent in modern America. And that's a scary thing. And I promise you, they could tomorrow tell us, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have a visitor to your front door. It's going to be a robot, and this is a law enforcement drone, and you have to obey it. And we have some kind of excuse because we lost a nuke or something that we're searching for, and we need to declare martial law. So just obey the robots. And they will just show up. We won't see them being manufactured. We won't see them being rolled out. They won't announce it to us or anything. These are the things they're going to keep secret from us. And this is a very scary timeline that I'm talking about here, but it's not the only one. If we think about the Star Wars timeline or the Star Trek timeline, drones are servants, drones, and they're sort of also conscious entities in both of those universes, but they aren't something that's used to control us or hurt us. They're something that's used to create a more naturally abundant society. And this could go either way. I think I just fired off really quick and pointed out all the things I really wanted to, but
Yeah, well said too regarding like the Star Trek future and the Star Wars future. I mean, everybody needs a rogue R2D2 that's kind of roguing to help humanity instead of roguing to like suppress us in some way. So I mean,
Right.
and Data, right? Like trying to be the best robot he can be to be more human and sort of have the human synthesis as part of the group.
Yeah.
I mean,
Trying
that's
to discover emotions and learn what they mean and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but all these things are possible right now. And that becomes the wild part of this is that, what future do we want and what future do we demand? Because again, it is up to us. Everything's going to turn over in the next 5 years. And like I said, nobody knows what this looks like. And it's going to be scary times, guys. Be very wary.
It's going to happen in the blink of an eye.
Exactly. Like you said, like it may be like that. You snap your fingers and now you have like a neighborhood group of robots that are patrolling the place to keep you safe, right? So who's being kept safe from whom becomes really the question when you start looking at this stuff. And yeah, iRobot Tomorrow. Like I said, if you guys haven't seen that movie, go back and watch it recently. It's playing like crazy on is it Comet or one of these other free? It's on a free channel. Is it Tubi maybe? Anyway, go check it out. Think of it in terms of the 2025 aspect of what we've been dealing with and what's coming. I'm telling you, Isaac Asimov was ahead of the game. Those 3 laws are the beginning of what we need, but there's so much more. It's incredibly difficult to kind of pin it down because there's a swarm aspect of people and then there's the individual. And that is literally going back to ancient philosophy. What do we protect? Society or the individual? You ask me, society is made up of individuals. So we need to find a way to do both.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, I think the movie Mickey 17 is on Tubi. That's another, like a couple of us have talked about it tonight. That's another very good one to explore. There was another movie recently. I forget what it was called. It was on Netflix. It was Chris Pratt and the girl from Stranger Things. And it was about something about the state. I can't remember the title of the movie. But there was a rogue law enforcement officer who could just avatar into a new robot body. Whenever his robot body got killed, he would just avatar into a new one and log into his visor and keep hunting down the people he was trying to hurt and things like that. These are very good movies to explore and keep an open mind when you're watching. But yeah, these are all crazy ideas we're talking about. And I think it is up to us and up to what our consciousness as a collective focuses on. We can focus on fear and hate, or we can focus on abundance and love and humanity. And I think that's going to determine what path our timeline follows in the next very few short years, regardless of the decades and centuries to come.
Yeah, keep your eyes open, guys. Like I've been saying, like we've been talking about this for years. That technological singularity is way closer than we ever dreamed. Some people were saying 2070, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't know. Like 2035 seems so close. Seems quite a bit more likely. God, it's so close. Yeah, so just keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes open, pay attention to what's going on around you, and stay locked into troubled minds. We've been ahead of the game the entire time. We will continue to be ahead of the game because we're always forward looking. You're the best, brother. Thanks for staying up late with us. Thanks for lighting it on fire as usual, and thanks for being you.
Thank you. I love you guys. Thanks for letting me fire off some ideas really fast. I love you guys. Have a good night.
You're the best. You know him, you love him. Michael W. If you haven't joined the Discord to meet these amazing people, you're doing it wrong. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Come meet Michael W. and all these other amazing people that are active on the Discord. Thank you again to everybody for being flexible with the technology. Sorry the phone line was broken. I thought I fixed it. It's like tinkering with a droid, right? Sometimes things aren't fixed. MJ, back to the joint. You had some stuff you wanted to add, and let's wrap it up.
Well, Eric gave me a little bit of a segue into it, talking about essence, putting your essence into a robot and it goes out and does stuff. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible because it has to do with programmable blood, which would be nanites. There's a movie called Bloodshot, and Vin Diesel's in it. Okay. And it basically is Super Soldier. And they built him, but they have his blood is nanites. Okay, little robots in there. And what the nanites do is if he gets hurt, they repair him. So they're constantly repairing, and they send him out and he gets all shot up. They bring you back in and drain the nanites out, put new ones in, reprogramming, because the nanites are 100% programmable to get him to do stuff for him. You know, like go out and kill people. You know, he can program and go get this and whatnot. And that's what the movie's about. Okay. Now, I told you guys earlier on about a tentacle that came out of my thumb joint in my hand and it ran up my forearm. I don't know if you remember that, of my forearm into the area where I had all the blood blisters and the needle puncture. When it got up there, it spread out and was tingling every bit of it. And then it went back down, you know, retracted back down to my thumb. Okay. My knees in a few days started getting better. I can now walk up and down stairs without having to use a cane, or, you know, like I can walk upstairs and use pressure on my knees now. And I don't have a problem doing that. Not that I don't feel something in the knee, but there's no pain. Okay. So what I was told about this the last few days, it's basically organic nanites that have been working on things. I'm starting to have less pain, a lot less pain in my shoulders. I've been able to do Qigong and Tai Chi, which puts pressure on your knees the way you have to stand. Well, for me, it was because of my lumbar area in the left. I started using and my knees went. I had to start using my arms to push me up out of the chair completely. I could not push with my legs. And of course, that affected my shoulders. It ran them, you know, ragged to where when I did the Tai Chi or whatever, I could do maybe 2-3 days a week of it. But by the end of the week, my knees were shot and my shoulders were burning. I couldn't do anything. Now, since this has all happened, I can actually have total flexibility in my shoulders and my knees where I can stand and do some of this stuff. I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, I had a knot in the left side of my neck in the back. And it was just all this built up tissue. And I couldn't, it was like, what is it? No pain. It wasn't like a bug bite. That would have been, you know, infected around. But what I did have was a tube of skin sticking up. And I thought something really got in there and, you know, did something to my neck, but I couldn't figure it out. So I have, they're called makeup pads, and I use that for witch hazel to rub, you know, rub on my face or just, you know, back on my neck and stuff. So I started dealing with it, and I could feel the skin. I looked in the mirror, and the skin was sticking up. I was just sitting there, and I kept thinking dehydration, but that's not me because I drink probably 1.5 gallons or 2 gallons of water because the humidity sweats it out. You got to put it back in. So I started squeezing it. I got it to flatten out, and I had the witch hazel on the little pad, and I squeezed it. Something was coming up. When I wiped it, it had like a burnt yellow clear liquid that came out. It was a little jelly-like. Once that was done, I got it cleaned up and kept wiping. It kept getting a tiny little scab, but it never itched. Nothing ever happened. And it's finally gone. It went back down again. And the only thing I can figure at this point is whatever happened August 2023, first and second day, there's been a change in my health where I can now actually use my arms freely and do some Tai Chi and Qigong. And I don't have, there's not like you can do it for so long and I got to quit this week, I can't do it. I can do a little every day now. And I don't have a recoup period because of it. I can just go do it. So the only thing I think of is organic nanites or whatever they've been doing. What I was told with all of this is we're born with defects at birth. We all have a certain amount of defects. Our teeth, hereditary knees, this type of thing. We all have something. And the explanation I was given is that there's a reconstruction going on, but it's taking out the defects. It's rebuilding you without the defects.
Okay, I'm actually glad that you're able to do this stuff. I mean, like I've been saying, getting old, man, it is the pits. You know, I'm starting to experience some of that stuff myself, and it's random and it's silly and it's stupid. But I'm very, very glad to hear that you're able to do what you need to do on a daily basis. regarding the nanites and whatnot. Obviously, I don't know anything about that, but it is something that I do wonder, because they're talking about it in the futuristic sense, like that guy Brian Johnson, Bryan, that Johnson. He's talking about at some point replacing his blood with like these nanites or whatever. This is a Ray Kurzweil and all that stuff too. It's weird, man. I don't know. Like, I wonder how that would get into the population, how you would test some of this stuff. And certainly, well, I don't know anything, certainly. I'll stop there. But yeah, I'm definitely glad it's working for you, and whatever's happening with that, keep us up to date. As you know, I'm glad to getting old as the pits, man. Getting old as the pits.
Well, I mean, this is done through abductions. This isn't like, oh, it's getting better for you. This was done as an experiment to see what would happen. And I keep coming back to that. And I keep saying, when's it going to end? Okay, your experiment's working. When's it going to end? And I'm told never. It's going to get better and better and better. But the thing is, let's say it wasn't aliens getting abducted by. Let's say we have the technology to supersede a reality over my reality. I'm in their room in Langley, Virginia, or Occoquan or Quantico, this type of thing, and they're working on you, and then they just drop you back in your bed, or you never really left your bed. See, that's what I'm getting at. The fact that this is, it's nice. Trust me, I can walk around the yard and I can walk. I actually was almost out of, because I could never walk. I'm walking around and I'm poking. It's like you have to duck walk sometimes. And I'm poking and going around. Suddenly I'm walking to the point where my respiration goes up and I'm like getting out of air. It's like, wow, it's been a while since I've done that. But what I'm getting at is this is going on around the world. So is it future technology that, I'm dealing with? Any of us are going to deal with. Because sooner or later, that's going to start happening to where, you won't have to have a shot to fix your, antibiotics. You'll just have nanites go in and fix it.
Yeah, that's what we're told.
How far? Huh?
That's what we're told with the accelerationists. They're talking about that right now. Like that's the next step of the human immortality space. I don't know, man. Like, is that... I don't know. Like a lot of people say a lot of things. And so those accelerationists in that sense, that might be for the population 20 years off. Who knows? It may be quite a bit sooner than that, as you're describing. So I don't really know, but certainly it's something that's kind of in the zeitgeist right now and pushing forward. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, and where are they getting it? How are they coming up with the ideas?
Got me. I'm an idea guy, and I don't even know. Of course, there are always possibilities, and that becomes the question on why we talk to each other and share these experiences and share the ideas together. You're the best, brother. As you know, let's wrap this up. I got to go eat.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much. Thanks for staying up late with us. And I don't know. You know me. No answers. More questions really come out of this than anything else. And like I said, if collectively we're not thinking about these things now, we will have massive problems when an existential crisis hits us all at the same time. It's happening right now to a lot of people. That GPT psychosis we've been talking about quite a lot. It's hitting very smart people at the toppest levels of AI too. People are just being led into a space that's not real. Hyper reality. It's not real. I don't know. What do you think? Again, thanks. Derek the Night Stalker says this, which I didn't know. And the anniversary of iRobot releasing in theaters was yesterday, synchronistically. Go watch it. I'm telling you, go watch it. Pay attention. It'll give you the chills. We are moving into that space. And what does it look like? I can only tell you conceptually impossibilities. I can only speak in rhythm and rhyme. That's it. I don't know anything else. The synchronicities seem to stack, and the acceleration seems to be here. Shout out Stephen England. I see you there. If I missed anybody, sorry about that. I see Ace. These call-in shows are just more us talking with each other. And thank you again for being flexible with the technology, flexible with me, and the timing and everything. I appreciate it very much. Who did I miss over there on Rumble? If I missed you guys, sorry about that. Hemp Car, I see you. Hiker, Sweets, Puff, Thanks again. Why? Good night. Hello. Yeah. Also, YY says this. Go check out what is it that fits into this Twilight Zone. The original Twilight Zone. It's called The Lateness of the Hour with Inger Stevens. Yep. Okay. And there you go. Anyway, you know what to do. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't trust the government. Dear God, please don't do that. I think at this point, trusting the government is definitely an IQ test. So, you know, yeah. And if you want to help troubled minds, you know what to do. Help our friends. Spread the word. Let people know a conversation is happening where we aren't going to talk politics mostly, and we're looking at the greater zeitgeist and how this fits, and doing it with all of these amazing friends. One more time, troubledminds.org/friends. You type it into your phone or your browser, and it'll take you there. So please do that, and go follow all these amazing people that make this show go. If you want to help us directly, again, we play AI music on the show. That link is in the description down below. It's the top link right there. I'd appreciate it very much. Trying to pay off this computer here, which is nice. Look at the camera. It's nice. The camera's nice. There's no glitches or weirdness, and when I click a tab, it doesn't chug up and slow down, and it just snaps. Everything's snappy. Thanks again for being part of this. Thanks for staying up late and caring about the ideas, even if it's off the beaten path. Because let me tell you what, a lot of truth lies off the beaten path. And that's how I see it. As we finish, it goes exactly like this. This one's for Sonia in the chat. I see you there. Appreciate you guys staying up late with us, caring about the ideas and the conversation. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. Nice job, fam. Thank you very much.